welcome to Ariel Helwani's MMA Show.
Back in your life on this Monday, June 24, 2019. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Welcome back to the program. Hope you had a lovely weekend. It was another busy one in the world of mixed martial arts. And to be honest with you, we got a busy one here for all of you today. Loaded show once again, stacked from top to bottom. Who's who joining us on the program, and a lot of fresh faces, a lot of first-timers, if you will. And I'm always excited when we have some fresh faces on the program. So it's going to be a great day, my friends. Happy Saint Jean-Baptiste Day to you if you are celebrating and watching in Canada. Happy birthday to my mom, our most loyal watcher, listener, viewer. She's been watching every single minute since we came over here to ESPN. In fact, tomorrow is the one-year anniversary of our first show. Time has flown. I think this is episode 52. I think we've done a full year's worth of shows, not to mention all the radio shows and all that other stuff that we're doing, Ariel the Bad Guy, whatnot. It has been a fun year, and this is a good way to celebrate the one-year anniversary. So like I said, a busy weekend in the books. Bellator was in London. There is a new Bellator middleweight champion. His name is Rafael Lovato Jr. He defeated Gegard Mousasi. What a great fight that was. If you missed it, I suggest going back and checking it out. James Gallagher got back on track. Who else got back on track? Aaron Chalmers got back on track. Fabian Edwards got a big win as well. So some good performances. None that really sort of blew me away, so to speak, but solid performances and the kind of wins that I think the Bellator brass wanted to happen on Saturday. I have more thoughts on that card, by the way, and a whole bunch of other things that happened in the world of MMA on my usual Monday ESPN.com random thoughts articles. If you want to check those out, please do. And of course, in Greenville, the UFC made its debut over there in beautiful South Carolina. And the Korean Zombie came back and knocked out Renato Moicano in just 58 seconds. I was really curious how he would respond from that loss to Yair Rodriguez back in November. That was one of the most heartbreaking losses, devastating losses that I had ever seen. You'll recall literally a second left in the fight. He rushes in, he gets knocked out with that crazy inverted elbow. I don't know what to call it, backwards elbow. And it appeared as though he was going to win the fight. Korean Zombie was going to win the fight. For some reason, he bum rushed him. And by the way, worth remembering that when we criticized Mr. Brendan Loughnane, kind of funny how that all works out. But anyway, he bum rushes him. He gets knocked out, and we have not seen him since then. And I was wondering how he would respond. I know he's a guy that kind of wears his emotion on his sleeve, but wow, he responded and then some. An amazing win, a beautiful right hand. I mean, the whole thing was perfect. It was just 58 seconds long, but it was just an incredible performance, an incredible bounce-back performance for the man they call the Korean Zombie, Chan Sung-jung. So we'll see what happens to Renato Moicano. That's two somewhat devastating losses in a row for him, coming off that loss to Jose Aldo. Other impressive performances, Randy Brown had a great one. How about Andrea Lee? And Molly McCann with another great win. Deron Winn had an amazing performance in his UFC debut. Luis Peña as well. So a lot to talk about there. And of course, the UFC returns this Saturday in Minneapolis. They've been there twice before. UFC 87 back in 2008 was the first time. You remember that show. Seek and Destroy, they called it. GSP versus John Fitch. And of course, Brock Lesnar, Minnesota's own, against Heath Herring. This will be their third show. That one is headlined, the one on Saturday, on ESPN, Francis Ngannou against JDS. I would be shocked if the winner of that fight does not fight for the heavyweight title next. All right, here's our lineup for today, and then we'll get to our first guest of the day. The aforementioned Luis Peña, a.k.a. Violent Bob Ross, will join us, talk about his big win over Matt Wyman. Rafael Lovato Jr., as I said, new Bellator middleweight champ. We'll talk to him at 325. How about Zhang Weili, who is fighting for the UFC strawweight title on August 31st against Jessica Andrade? I don't think we've ever had a Chinese fighter on this show. Zhang will be the first. I'm looking forward to that very much. She'll be joining us from Beijing, by the way. John Jones, yes, Jonathan Dwight Jones will be joining us at around 2:45. He's getting ready for Thiago Santos in less than 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to catching up with Johnny Bones. Liz Carmouche will meet Valentina Shevchenko in Uruguay. Second time they fight, she beat her around 9 or so years ago. They'll be fighting on August 10th, and we'll talk to Liz Carmouche about that big opportunity. Brendan Loughnane will talk about not getting the contract following his win last week on the Dana White Contender Series show and all the controversies surrounding that. Deron Winn will stop by, talk about his UFC debut, his victory, the Fight of the Night bonus against Eric Spicely on Saturday. We'll talk to Eddie Alvarez for the first time since his loss at the One Championship fight that he was a part of just a couple of months ago. His debut for One Championship, it did not go his way. Had a gruesome eye injury. We'll see how he's feeling, and of course talk about his return in August. And the aforementioned Molly McCann will stop by at 1:15, talk about her big win against Ariane Lipski this past Saturday. But first, let's talk to the man they call Chito Vera, Marlon Vera. He was supposed to fight Sean O'Malley at UFC 239. Unfortunately, O'Malley has been temporarily suspended by the Nevada State Athletic Commission after traces of Ostrin came up in two out-of-competition drug tests. So he's going to have a hearing in July. The United States Anti-Doping Agency isn't going to suspend him again. He was suspended for 6 months by USADA and the NSAC a few months ago because of Ostrin, but they're saying it's the same traces. However, Nevada has some questions, so they pulled him from 239, thus leaving Marlon Vera, at least for now, opponentless. So let's say hello to Mr. Marlon Vera, who joins us right now. Marlon, how are you?
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm good. I gotta keep moving forward and stay sharp. At the end of the day, I might fight somebody, and I in my head I'm fighting, and I'm keep losing weight until they tell me you're out.
Okay, and before I ask you more questions about that, I just have to address the elephant in the room, because there I am on Saturday enjoying the fights, minding my own business, and there's Marlon Vera tweeting me. I think we have the tweet. Is this the tweet? Yes, there it is. Someone, I guess, asked to have you on the show, and you said, quote, "Hell drama only promotes drama." And I was like, wow, Marlon Vera.
You like that.
What's up with this?
You like that.
What's going on?
You like that.
What do you mean? Like what?
You like to promote the bullshit a little bit extra than the regular stuff.
You mean like the fights, like the stuff that people really care about, like the theatrics and the rivalries and the grudge matches, all that stuff?
Yeah, but you like when it gets deep,
Well,
That's what you like. You like, yeah. But it's good, You're doing great, so congrats. But it's everybody has
hell drama, Marlon. Well, where's the respect? It's a good nickname,
bro.
I didn't know we had beef, Marlon. I thought we were cool.
Oh, we don't have beef.
Okay.
It's just, I like to fuck around.
All right, fair enough. Well, you know what? When I saw that,
there's nothing bad.
When I saw that, I said, all right, now I want him on the show because I like the drama, right?
See, I got to insult you to be here.
It's all good. Well done on your part. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So what was your reaction when you found out about Sean?
Well, I was eating with my family. I was eating my salad, my salmon. We were in the restaurant, and then I got a text from my manager. And then normally I try to don't grab the phone when I'm with my kids. But then there was something said about fight, and I was like, fuck. So I opened up the text messages, and then it was my manager in a chat group with my coaches, and he was like, hey, the guy tests positive, or what they explained me. I understand. And then I was like, fuck, well, let's move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no time for going and start insulting the guy and fuck you, cheater, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, okay, move on. Let's see who wanna fight. I take like 5 or 4 fights in a week or less notice. So I guess there's a lot of guys like me out there, but I guess not, because nobody have taken it yet.
Do you believe the story that this is, traces of the old positive test, or do you have doubts?
Look, I really don't give a fuck about what my opponents or fighters does, but let's be real. If you test positive, you fucked up. Even if it was by accident or you take a supplement, there's a phone number you can call. You can call to USADA and ask, hey, can I take this type of protein? And they will tell you, look, that's certificated, it's all good. Or, you know what? The ingredients looks fine, but it's not certificated. So it's easy. If you test positive, if you're fucking full, you're dumb, go fuck yourself, you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time I want to take a pill or a new supplement, I call. I have Jeff Nowitzki phone number. Everybody can have Jeff Nowitzki phone number. Text him, hey, can I take this product? Yes or no? If you're driving and you kill somebody, it's your fault. You go to jail. So, fuck him.
So it sounds like you don't really feel bad for him. Accurate?
Oh, I don't give two fucks about no one besides my family, my friends, and that's it.
When this fight was announced, I noticed that he was sort of making fun of your name and calling you Cheetos and all that stuff. Did that bother you?
I don't even reply him. I have no time for that. Who's the guy? He fought 2 fights that he barely win in the UFC. It's no big deal. So I don't care.
You think he's
You can
overhyped?
say I don't even care about that. That good for him. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of famous right now, so I don't. I really don't mind those things. Those things don't bother me. I just want to fight, and what what I did in my last 3 performances is what really counts. You gotta go in there, fight hard, and finish those guys. That's what really matters. You know, you can say whatever you want, you can talk, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Were you surprised when they offered you him just because it seems like they're trying to build him up? And like you said, you've looked very good in your last 3 fights. You're a very tough opponent for someone like him. Were you surprised that they were matching you guys up?
Oh, it. I feel like this: the winner will go up, and then we'll go really good. It will break the ranking, something like that, and probably the UFC is gonna do something good with that. So I believe like the winner will get all the good stuff, the money, the opportunities and stuff like that. So I was looking forward to take all that.
So this past week we had John Linacre, who was supposed to fight Rob Font, and Linacre had to withdraw from the fight, so Rob Font was left without an opponent. It kind of seems like the most obvious decision is to just make you versus Rob Font. Have they talked to you about that?
I saw that, but in the other side, I kind of don't like to fight people I know. I already did it once when I fought in Argentina, and it's awkward and it's not what I signed for. When I'm fighting, I really want to hurt the guy in front of me. I really have no feelings at all.
What's that?
So
What's so funny?
I just finished training with Jason Parrillo. Like, it's like, call out your sister, tell her that you fight anybody. But really, I just don't like the moment. If the other side call me out or it's too much pressure, maybe. But I just feel like it's a weird thing. I don't like to do that. And then it's not like the winner's gonna be fighting for the title or something really big. So there's not too much in the line. And then there's a lot of fighters out there too. So I'm not tripping out on that.
Okay. So you and Rob
I got
Font are friends?
we're not best friends, but we cool. We're really cool. And then you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like I will avoid a fight with him, but you just kind of respect that. You gotta be also a man, and if you guys are cool in the past, and then there's not too much reward of that fight. Like the winner will get a shot, or the winner will get all this money, or the winner this. I don't feel it's worth it. I
Okay.
already did it once. I was trying to fight Frankie Sainz in Argentina, and they throw me somebody that was my friend. Of course, when they announced the fight, we were not friends anymore. So
Do
that's
you,
kind of weird.
do you think you will remain on the card?
I hope so.
Have they told you?
I hope so. They haven't told me anything at all. The only talk I had was my manager, and he told me like nothing for now. So,
What if they say the only way you can remain on the card is Rob Font?
well, they already probably they already should say that before. They haven't said it, so that means they don't want to do it. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because his fight pulled out before mine, so they could easily be like, okay, match them up, but 3 days happened or 2 days, and then they haven't said anything. So I guess that's not the right move for them. And as I said before, I gotta be honest. I'm not, making up. It's just weird to fight somebody.
Yeah. No, I respect that. I respect you saying that. How many more do you think you need to win before you're in that discussion, along the Aljamain Sterlings and the Piotr Jans, Henry Cejudo champion? How many more in your mind?
Well, they know. I already fought Linacre when he was number 5, and his only loss was with TJ, which was the champion back then. So they know I fight. They know they call me I fight anyone. I'm not too picky with that. And then I'm always training. Like I'm still losing weight. I just finished training right now. In my head, I'm fighting until they tell me enough. So maybe one more win. I finished the last 3 guys,
Yeah.
and then I got those lost by decision in Brazil. They didn't win my way, but before that they won 3. So, and then I beat Kelleher when he was with momentum. Right now he don't have that, but I beat him when he was kind of like being as a prospect. So I'm down to take any fight out there. So they just have to call me. They know I fight.
By the way, how is your daughter doing? We learned about her, and you were trying to help her out. How is she doing? Can you give us an update?
Oh, she's great, man. I get her the surgery right before the fight in LA with the Chinese guy,
Yeah.
and now she's smiling, dude. See her smiling is awesome. Now it's my little daughter here, my 8 month is with me right now. She came to watch me training, but Anna Paul is great. She can smile now. She can eat better. She can speak better, pronounce better, and her English it makes easier when you can move your mouth better. So
Wow.
I'm just in a great spot, and then that's what I care about. Being happy. That's it.
So the surgery was a success.
The surgery was a success. My daughter was able to smile.
Wow,
Yep.
that's amazing. And so and you have an 8-month daughter. She comes to the gym with you to watch you.
Yeah, my wife brought her. She's like crawling around.
Oh, okay. I thought you just go with her, just you two.
Oh no, not by myself. I need the security guard.
Yeah. And how old is your son?
My son is 4 years old.
Does he
He's at
understand what you're doing now?
Yeah, he's like that. Me and my sister, I want to fight at the UFC. I'm like, no, you don't fight with your sister in UFC. But he kind of understands. They don't really know for real. They don't cheer yet, like, oh, let's go with that. I want you to win. They don't understand like that, but I cannot wait till that. But they were supposed to come to Vegas to watch me fight. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, wow. The whole family.
The whole family, wife, 3 kids.
Would that be the first time that they all go?
No, when my wife was pregnant of my daughter, they were in LA in the Staples Center watching me fight.
Okay.
The baby almost came out.
Because of the nerves and everything?
After the first round.
Is that true?
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But I guess the nerves are pretty high. When my friends fight, I'm showing my pants. I cannot imagine my wife watching me fight.
Yeah. I bet. And so let's just say you get a fight on this card. Would you like, I mean, it's too soon, actually. I was going to say Uruguay, but probably not going to happen, right?
From what I heard, everything is packed until Mexico City. So I'm like, well, like, I won't get upset. I won't cry. I won't be like, "Ooh, I fly my mom here to help me in camp." Like, I lose money. Like, fuck that. You don't get nothing of crying. So I would be like, I will just wait for my opportunity. I will keep training. But the only thing I know, if I don't fight next week, I might be out until September.
Really?
Which is not good for me, but it is what it is.
They
What I
can't
can
squeeze you in anywhere.
Maybe they can. I don't know if they want. You know what I'm saying? Like, when shit happens, you're kind of G as fuck,
Yeah.
And then making a big deal or start crying or start, just having negative thoughts, it just makes it worse. So I already let it go. As soon as they told me the fight with Amali is off, I just let it go. I was like, fuck it. I remain focused. I still sharp, but there's not too much you can do. You cannot control things that happen in the inside. So I don't put resistance in anything, and I just accept it and did some yoga and relax.
At some point down the line, would you like to get that fight back with Sean?
Oh, I think I said this before. If they offer me this fight in the future, I take it. Like I just fight. I'm not a guy that if I lose to this guy, I don't jump to the rankings. I don't give a fuck. To me, it's a fight. I get paid if I win. So whoever take the fight, let's fight. I came for a place. You just have to fight to make it.
All right. Well, I hope you get that fight, my friend. Good to have you on the show for the first time, and thank you for calling me out. I appreciate it. Just to let you know.
Next time I see.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Tell me.
I was gonna say, just it's not only about the drama. It's just about stories. It's about stories, and this was a good story. And I swear, you may not believe me, Marlon, but after this news came out, I swear I was gonna reach out to you because I wanted to get your side of the story. I swear. And then you tweeted that, and I was like, all right, it's happening.
Yeah. Okay. And now I know how to get your attention. We just talk shit to you. And if I don't reach you, we'll just punch you probably next time.
That's fine. You can do whatever you want. I have respect for you, my friend. All the best to you.
Thank you so much.
And I hope that you get the fight. Thank you for doing this.
Okay.
All right, there he is.
Let's go.
Marlon Cheeto Vera, hoping to get a fight on the UFC 239 card July 6th in Las Vegas. No longer fighting Sean O'Malley. We'll see how that whole situation pans out. Okay, let's go back to Greenville now and talk about one of the big performances, one of the big wins on Saturday. Our good friend Meatball Molly McCann had a big performance. She had a big win. However, I have a bone to pick with Everton's finest, Molly McCann. Let's go to the big screen over here as I hold up my Everton mug. Molly, we should have had the clip ready to go because you told me after you won in Greenville, you would be here in studio with me. Is that not true?
I decided I'm going to go to Italy instead.
Okay, well, I don't blame you. I'd rather be in Italy as well. But I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see you in studio. I thought that was the plan.
No, it is. But look, let's just save it for when I fight at Madison Square Garden one day.
Okay, maybe in November. It's a deal. Yes. Congratulations on the win. I still can't believe you fought 3 months after the way your eye looked and that surgery. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. I tell you what, saw Ariel this year.
Oh.
I got a collie in that fight.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
What happened? She pulled it?
I don't know. I think it was off the takedown.
Oh, okay. So does it hurt to put the earbuds in?
Yeah, I have to proper squidge it in.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, and so the eye's okay. It held up fine. No problems?
No, absolutely fine. Ariel, I've just got out of the taxi from the airport. I've just arrived at my friend's house.
Oh.
And there's like life-size meatballs. there's all good luck banners. There's my bag still.
Wow.
Look, I know.
I noticed Molly. Oh, look at that! Nice hat. I like it. Oh, is that your American hat that you got over there?
Yeah.
That wasn't your first time in America, was it?
No. I've been about 12 times.
But first time fighting in America.
Yeah.
And did it feel different?
No, I was more relaxed.
Why?
I was the most relaxed. I don't know. I believed I was ready this time. I don't know. It was just, there was no pressure maybe because it wasn't home. I was the underdog. I was the massive underdog. And I just went out and did the best performance of my life, Ariel, really, wasn't it?
You think that was your best performance ever?
In terms of a tactical fighting tactically, yeah. Because I've been in fights and I've been in wars, but technically and tactically, I did what I had to do to win.
What did you like so much about the performance in particular?
I didn't lose my head and just try and knock her out. I boxed clever. The game plan was to hit and move, let her come, and then counter her strikes. And I did that the whole way through. It was only the last 15 seconds when I threw down to the floor and said, "Let's go." Was like vintage meatball.
Yes, it was amazing. The crowd loved it as well. Speaking of the crowd, it seems like they really took a liking to you, and you seem to have taken a liking to them. I've never been to South Carolina, never been to Greenville. What is it like there? Because it seems like you loved it.
Yeah, it was like being in American Liverpool. Everyone was just lovely, Ariel. Everyone just gave me free stuff. Just was taking us around the UFC gym in Greenville. That was an amazing experience. We went shooting guns. I was shooting a shotgun.
Whoa.
I know. On the Wednesday before the fight, I was out shooting guns, and they was like, "I don't think you should do this in case of your shoulder," but it was fine. America just has a lovely vibe to it. I love it.
What was wrong with your shoulder?
Oh no, nothing. But just in case the recoil on the gun.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then, okay, so then it all works out. And I wanted to ask you about something that someone wrote me on Twitter. Someone said like, "Oh, was Lipski overhyped? She's now 0-2 now. You know, like did we have too high expectations? She's now lost to you and Joanne Calderwood." What is your take on that? My take is just let you know that she just fought two of the best flyweights in the world. There's no shame in that. Now that you've been in the cage with her, do you feel like she was overhyped?
I think my fight with Lipski and Jojo's fight with Lipski was two quite different fights.
Mm-hmm.
I think my footwork was harder for her to pin me down to hit me with, whereas Jojo's a bit more typical Thai, so she just stood there and had war, and then when she wanted to take her down, took her down. I definitely think you only have to look at Ariane's fight to see how deadly she is. Like, I can't put people away the same way she can. Um, so I don't think she's been overhyped, but I think um, I was expecting the best version of herself to come and fight me on Saturday because she'd just had a loss and she was after that win, so she's more hungry than ever. And I nullified her. She couldn't do nothing. Um, I know I got a cut, which was like an elbow to the top of the head, but I didn't really get much damage anywhere else. I didn't really take too much. It was just a smart fight instead of a hard fight. And I didn't even get out of first gear, really, Ariel. I was like, I didn't get out of breath. I just took my time and was composed, which is quite new for me.
It feels like, at least it was sort of like a Cage Warriors versus KSW fight. I know you're proud of your roots. Did you feel like this was a victory for your former organization?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like to win a world title in another organisation is massive. Obviously, the goal is always the UFC belt, but she is good calibre. KSW don't just let anyone win a world title in their female divisions. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with Cage Warriors. They'll only bring the belt out if you've gone on a tear and deserve a title shot. So, I'm probably I was one of the best in Europe, and obviously KSW's in Europe as well. So it was nice that we met in America, and I really enjoyed the bout. She was the first opponent, so I've never like smack talked or got in her face too much at the weigh-ins. I really respected her. I like her as a person, and I really like her fighting style. And yeah, it's been a really enjoyable time.
Perhaps my favorite moment of the fight is when you took her down and then you waved to the crowd. Why did you do that?
I thought, I don't know, I didn't think it was going to be as easy to take someone down. I've really worked at my wrestling so hard, Ariel. And when I took her down, it wasn't just like a double leg, it was like a slam. So it was just like, oof. And then I just heard the crowd go, yeah, meatball. And then I looked up and I seen who said it, and I was like, and then carried on. So I had to show Americans what I was about, and I showed a bit of class, a bit of flashiness, just everything Scousers embody. I did.
Well, it's wonderful to see. You seem a lot more comfortable in there, like you are truly at home in the UFC, right? That loss to Jillian Robertson feels like it was 10 years ago now.
Now it does. It was still haunting me in that last fight camp, but now it's gone. When I walked into the cage area, I was really calm, and I turned around when Ariel was walking in, and I said to my coach, I'm not scared to be here now. I'm good. And I was just ready to go. And it's nice to not feel vulnerable in there.
Yeah. So you're saying in this fight camp it was still haunting you, or going into the last one?
Yeah, no, this fight camp, it was still there. So I felt a win in the UFC and I felt a loss in the UFC. And I was so scared in case I went back to the loss. There were still some demons I had to get rid of, and I think that performance has proved to everyone I deserve to be where I am. To all the trolls who said, oh, she's this, she's that, and she's the other.
Yeah.
My performance is the talking for me, so I don't have to.
What did it mean to you to have Michael Bisping interview you after the fight?
I seen him in the week, and he did a little interview to speak to me about what he would say when I was fighting, and he was like, "You best not win because you're British," and I was like, "I know." When he paved the way for the Brits, so to be like a female version of him, I said, "I'm like the female you." I said, "I've only got one good eye." I said, I'm orthodox but right left-handed. And I said, who knows, maybe I'll take a fight against Shevchenko on 2 weeks' notice and knock her out with a left hook because she's a southpaw.
Yes.
Like when he beat Luke Rockhold. I was like, maybe it's all written in the stars. And he just laughed.
That's amazing. How quickly do you want to return?
I've got some niggling injuries, to be honest, Ariel. I think my hands broke, my hair. I want to take like maybe 4 to 6 weeks of recovery and then get back to it.
Okay. Did you get confirmation it's broken?
Not yet, but it's black and I can't bend it.
Oh,
So
no.
I'll have an X-ray soon.
When did you break it? Do you know?
It's the second round. I punch it and then I go like that. And I tried to make it look like I was showboating a bit, but really I was like, oh no.
Oh man. So hopefully no surgery and you won't be out for too long. Have you ever?
Yeah, well, even with surgery, Ariel, I'll only be out for 2 weeks.
I know. You're unbelievable. You're like Wolverine over there. By the way, I noticed something on Instagram, and maybe it's an old thing, but I didn't notice it before. I noticed that on Instagram your name is Molly McCann Pearson. Is that new?
No, my stepdad who passed away, his last name was Pearson. So I just took that on when my mum got married to him a few years ago. But because I didn't put it on my passport, I don't always say Molly McCann Pearson. But that's my dad's last name.
Okay, but did you just recently put that on your Instagram or you've always had it there?
I can't remember.
Okay. I try to pick up on these things, you know?
Oh, I'm engaged now.
Oh, Mazel Tov. I hope I'll be... Well, yes. I hope I'll be invited to that whenever that comes. That time comes, you know?
Of course.
It'll be a great party.
Oh, for days.
Yes. Well, I felt bad, when Liverpool won and all that, it hurt me in the heart. It was tough to watch, wasn't it? Seeing Darren Till and all those people celebrate, it was just a little much.
I left Liverpool for the weekend. I went to Bournemouth, which is by London. Well, not by London, but down south to Americans. And I had to leave because I knew it was going to happen.
I mean, they're so smug, right? I mean, they're just, act like you've been there before, okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but congrats to you on your team winning the NBA.
Yes, it was great. Not as big as Champions League or FA Cup or those really big things, but it was a nice little feather in our cap for my country. I hope you are rooting for them as well. Like I've adopted your club.
Obviously, Ariel, did you see on Fight Week? I put a tweet up saying, "Do I listen to Drake on Fight Week?" And everyone was like, "No." So I didn't listen to Drake. So.
Oh, that's silly. The Drake curse is no more. It's not a thing anymore. Dylan Dennis crushed it. I don't know if you heard.
No, I did, yeah. But just in case.
Well, this looks like a phenomenal place that you're at. I see the banners behind you. It seems like a great time over there.
They had a great time here.
It's amazing. Well, enjoy it. Yeah. I can't believe you did this right from the airport. You're a real mensch, Molly. Thank you. Thank you for doing it. Mate. And enjoy the victory. And get well soon, okay? We'll talk to you soon.
All right, then. See you later, Ariel, mate.
All right, there she is, Molly McCann. Meatball Molly. Always, I tell you, every time I talk to Molly McCann, I'm always in such a great mood. How do you not love her? She's just always so positive, always so happy, and that was a great win for her against Lipski. I'm not ready, as I mentioned to that individual on Twitter. I am not ready to say that Lipski was overhyped. She had won 9 in a row going into that fight. Yes, it was, against maybe lesser competition. It was KSW. KSW is very good, so it's no knock on KSW, but Calderwood's very good, one of the very best at 125, and Molly McCann is very good. Those are tough fights. She's living these days in New Jersey, training in New Jersey, and maybe moving her training to New Jersey, and working on her wrestling will go a long way for Lipski. Lest we forget, one Korean zombie, Chan Sung-jung, lost his first 2 fights in Zuffa back in the WEC days. Of course, the first one against Leonard Garcia was highly controversial, and most people thought he won the fight. But, the record book shows that he lost those 2 fights. And so losing 2 in a row shouldn't be the end of your career, but you do have to adapt, and flyweight is coming a long way. A lot of tough fighters, a lot of tough wrestlers at flyweight. We'll be talking to one of those later in the program, Liz Carmouche, who will be getting a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. She was supposed to fight Roxanne Modafferi on July 20th in San Antonio, but they moved Carmouche from that fight to fight Shevchenko on August 10th in Uruguay, and now Modafferi is fighting Jennifer Maia, who she lost to via split decision in Invicta FC around 3 or so years ago. In a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by former UFC and Bellator lightweight champion, one Edward Alvarez, will be joining us. I've been trying to talk to Eddie Alvarez for quite some time. He is often an elusive fellow, but he is kind enough to be joining us. He fought in one championship back in March. Unfortunately, lost that fight to Timofey Nastyukhin. He will be returning to action in August, looking to get back on track. Suffered a gruesome injury in that fight against Timofey, and so I'm looking forward to getting his thoughts on what went wrong, his recovery. Remember that injury, that eye injury? Do we have that photo? It was like his eyelid just like split in half. It was gruesome. A very scary injury, but glad to see that he's okay. He was a part of our Helwani Road show. There's the injury right over there. I mean, look at that. Whoa. So without further ado, let us say hello to Eddie Alvarez on that note. Eddie, are you there?
Can you see me?
Well, now we're looking at your eye, but I think we can see you. We're about to see you in a matter of moments. There you are, Eddie. How are you?
How you doing? All better.
All better. Wow. Well, it's good to talk to you, my friend. What happened there? Could you tell us what exactly was the injury?
I got in a fist fight.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a torn choroidal, which is part of the retina tore or detached. And then I split my eyelids, so my top eyelid and my bottom eyelid split in half during from a punch.
Man, and how long did it take for it to recover?
Well, it wasn't super long. Maybe like 2. I think they told me 2 weeks for the detached choroidal. It's non-surgical. I don't have to get no surgery done, and the eyelid itself, they stitched it really well in Japan, which I was lucky. They did a really good job, and that was healed up probably in like 3 weeks' time, something like that.
So did you feel that right away? Because it did seem when he landed that punch that it really affected you, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. Did you feel that right away? And if so, what did it feel like?
Like the worst injury that I've had in I've been fighting maybe 16 years now, so never had anything feel like that. I never during a fight stopped giving a shit about the outcome, the opponent. I immediately didn't care about anything other than getting to a hospital as fast as possible. I felt like my eyeball kind of like exploded.
Wow.
And then I could feel the air getting into my eye, like directly into my eye. So it was more of a, I don't know. It was career threatening. That's what I felt like. The immediate feeling.
Wow. You thought your eye was going to fall out?
Not fall out, but I was getting a gush of blood, like a lot of warm blood straight from my eyeball. And I thought that I affected my eye and my eyeball. And I thought, there was a possibility of maybe an issue with sight. So I wanted to get to the hospital as soon as possible. Even when we got to the hospital, they were messing with it with stitches, stitching my eyelid. And then out of nowhere, I had a gush of blood coming out of my eye.
Oh, my.
From almost like, I guess, like a blood blister, like the kind you get on your finger. When you pop them, you get like a burst. I had that, but I had it in the white part of my eye. So one of them popped when I was in the hospital. It was nasty, man. Nasty night.
Wow. Okay, so in the end, though, no surgery needed, correct?
No surgery. It was a detached choroidal. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. But they told me no surgery, and that should be healed up within 2 weeks or so. And then just the laceration of the eyelid, just wait till that heals up.
There was obviously a lot of attention on this fight because it was your debut. You left the UFC, you signed this big deal. Leading up to the fight in Japan, being back there, when you start with a new organization, you're not new to this, but there is always that, that feeling out process. What did it feel like just being in a new organization for the first time in a while?
I didn't like the immediate attention I was getting. I felt like it was undeserved. I didn't get any wins under that banner. So I don't know. I like going into promotions kind of playing the underdog and earning my respect. So I feel like maybe that's why I don't know. I subconsciously lose my debuts in promotions just so I can have to fight for something. So I don't know, man. But I love fighting in Japan. I love going over there. The sleep thing was a little difficult going over there and adjusting for a 13-hour sleep pattern, 13-hour difference. That was a little difficult. But other than that, I felt amazing. That's why I took a fight immediately. Like I took a fight in August because regardless of the outcome of the last fight, I gotten so much better over that 4 months of training for my debut that I just didn't feel like I got to show it. So I took a fight in August 2nd just because I felt like I gained so much momentum and I got so much better as a fighter that I want to display that.
But you can understand why there was a lot of attention on you. It was a big deal that you were signing over there.
No, 100%. I just don't like, I don't know. I felt like I was getting a lot of, I'm not saying attention. I'm fine with attention. Just respect. Like, I don't know. I feel like respect is kind of earned. It's undeserved until you go somewhere and actually start beating guys and become the champion. I felt like there was a lot of already unearned respect there. So I don't know.
Do you feel more pressure to justify the big contract?
No, I don't. I think I seen something online a little while ago. It's like you're not paying me for a fight. You're paying me for 16 years, of doing what I've done. So I never look at it like a here and now thing. Like I don't get paid for my fights for what I do for 15 minutes inside the cage. I get paid for being a lifelong martial artist, for doing this for 20 years of my life. That's why I'm paid.
And in this particular fight, you fought at 170, right? Because of their weight cut rules. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I love the fact that that it was a hydrated weigh-in, that I didn't have to cut weight, but I'm still trying to figure that whole thing out. I don't. There's no way I can make 155 hydrated. I can't do that. There's no way I can do that and play by the rules that I'm given. But I felt like at 170, I did feel like the guy was a lot bigger than I was. So I needed to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, how is that even possible? There's just no way, right? And how do they even how could they know if you're what do they do to find out if you're hydrated or dehydrated at 170 as opposed to 155? How do they determine this?
So you have to pee before you even weigh in. So if you don't pass the hydration, you won't even get a chance to weigh in and pass that. So you have to pass the hydration first and foremost. You have to pee in a cup. And you pee in a cup and they test it with I don't know, it's like a metal pen stick or something. And they test it, the clarity of the pee, and to see if it's hydrated or not. As long as it's hydrated, you have to go weigh in after that and then hit your 170 or under mark. As long as you do them two things and pass, then you pass that test for that day.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so when you step on the scale, though, you're 170 pounds, correct? Not 155.
Not 155, 170, fully hydrated. You can't be like if I step on 170 and my pee's neon green or neon orange, like it is when I'm 155, then I fail.
Okay. And as far as the organization goes, just, you've been in organizations before, but there's so much attention on them as they continue to grow and now signing a lot of fighters from America, the way it runs operationally and all that stuff. What was that like for you?
Incredible. The show itself is like nothing that you'll see here in America. It reminded me when I fought back in Dream. They present the fighters like old school Pride. Before the matches start, they present the fighters, and then they got the war drums in the beginning. The actual show itself it's an incredible show to go to if you're a hardcore mixed martial arts fan, or even if you're not. The show itself is electric inside.
it's a weird thing with the fighters leaving the UFC. I feel like there are some people who, in a weird way, maybe I'm wrong, like they almost like put an evil eye out there. Like they root for you guys to fail outside of the UFC to justify the UFC's decision not to sign you. Do you feel those eyes on you? Do you feel like there are people that are happy that you failed in your first fight outside of the UFC to say, look, we didn't sign him, it was the right thing to do?
Yes, but there will always be people who are happy about my failure, but they're the same people who are happy about everyone else's failures. What I learned over a stretch of time in this sport, like with fans and things like that, nothing is personal toward me. I never look at anybody's bad feelings personal toward me. It's usually a lot about like what's going on with them personally. So like if someone's wishing for my downfall or wants something bad on me, it just says more about themselves than it does about me. I don't pay attention to any of that. So I really try to focus on my fans and the encouragement I get from the people who are, saying good things.
Did you feel like you got a love afterwards? Who's there?
Huh?
Who's there? Your son? Daughter?
No, my daughter. Here you go.
What does she want?
She needed her puppy dog.
Did you feel like you got a lot of love afterwards, especially with the injury?
Yeah, I always get a crazy amount of support, win or lose. There's always haters. They'll never go away. But win or lose, my fans have been with me. Like I never looked at this sport like one fight. This fight means everything. I never looked at it like that. I'm in love with the sport of mixed martial arts, and I've always have been. I've been a long-term thinker, not one fight, one championship, one anything. Everything I've done was over the course of many years. So I have a different way of viewing things than a normal fighter or a normal person who's been in the sport for a short period of time.
Timofey is very good, not very well known here in America. Did he surprise you at all?
I knew we had to wrestle at some point. So I think I waited too long to wrestle. But I knew going into the fight, we're going to have to wrestle to take away this guy's explosiveness. His speed and explosiveness for how big he was shocking. That was usually as a guy gets bigger, as they get more muscle bound, as they get everything, you usually lose speed, and you lose that pop. He was incredibly fast, like a featherweight, fast and very explosive. So I was shocked by that more than anything. But I knew going into the fight we'd have to wrestle at some point and wear that out to be able to even up the speed difference. So if I was surprised by anything, it was the speed and explosiveness inside there.
You alluded to this earlier. You lost your UFC debut against Donald Cerrone. Did you take any positives from that experience and try to remember them as you were dealing with this one? Were there any similarities between the two experiences? It sort of came to mind when we were digesting all of this. Like, yeah, he lost his UFC debut, but ended up becoming UFC champion. Did you draw any similarities between the two experiences?
Yeah, it was just so long ago. I had a different thought. I had a different mind then. Like after the Cerrone fight, I probably sat and dwelled on that for so damn long that I lost precious training hours, trying to understand why and if I did this and if I did that. And I've done that for fights in the past, and that's been my biggest regret, is just kind of dwelling too much on losses, dwelling too much on failure versus just kind of understanding it's part of my process. Just got to get my feet wet and just focusing on continuing to grow each day. And that's kind of what I'm more proud of myself, that I've lost and I didn't let it affect me the way I let losses affect me in the past. So if I grew any way, if I showed growth in any way, it was that I didn't allow the loss to kind of take control of me. It happened. Was I pissed off? Yeah. I never like to lose. I'm competitive, but I got right back in the gym and continued to get better.
Have you been punched in that eye yet?
Yeah. We've been sparring quite a bit.
And no reservations. Doesn't feel weird.
No.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The fight that I think everyone at some point, I thought maybe they would do it in this next one. They went with Edward, but I'm wondering if Shinya Aoki is on the radar. Are we going to see that fight again?
I'm sure he is. I mean, that's a trilogy. He got me one. I got him one. For me, I badly want to beat Fuliang. He's held the belt. He's been the champion over at one, and he's a hell of a fighter. So I badly just want to beat the former champ. I need that. I need that under my belt, and then I can go ahead and I see that being a natural progression. Fuliang to Aoki to somewhere near a title shot from there.
Is it possible that you slide back into the tournament if someone falls out? Is that on the table?
I don't know. I don't know what's possible. I'll be ready to fight. So whatever happens. I'd love that'd be nice.
It certainly will. Yes. Or would be nice, I should say. Yeah, it's been interesting. I don't know. Do you find you have some kind of connection with like DJ and Sage since the three of you went in there? I know you're not connected as far as training or even where you live, but it does feel like we've kind of grouped you three together. And, even DJ's fight that night was very tough. It didn't go Sage's way. He had the surgery. Do you feel any kind of kinship with them, or am I making something out of nothing here?
No, I talk to DJ still. We text back and forth. I look at us as sort of pioneers for the sport. Not DJ's done it all, seen it all. He to me is probably the best guy to do it. Nobody's done what he's done or even came close. But at some point, fighters are going to have to stick up for themselves. They're going to have to find out what they're worth. And there's only one way to do that. You got to have the courage to kind of fight out of your contract and see what else is out there. So DJ was brave enough to do that. I was brave enough to do that. And so was Sage, regardless of criticism, regardless of what the masses are going to say. Sometimes you have to do that in order for anything to grow. And I think it helped the sport grow. I think people are understanding one guy does it, two guys do it. And next thing you know, people understand that there's a whole nother larger market out there. We're worth a lot more and we're selling ourselves short.
Eddie, I appreciate it. Very well said. I couldn't agree with you more. Happy to hear that you'll be returning in August. I believe that's One Championship 100, Dawn of Heroes. And I'm happy to hear that your eye is doing okay as well. And better luck next time with the trivia. You gave him your best shot, but I got big plans for you. Okay, so I'm hoping that you'll come back. You'll go back to the drawing board, and we'll see you next year. All right.
That was an old college try. You seated me badly. You put me in a third seat.
Oh,
I didn't like the way you seated me there. I would have loved to have been next to Stephen Thompson too. That was a dream seat you gave Stipe. Okay.
I'm sorry. All right, next one. I owe you one.
All right.
Thank you, Eddie. We'll talk to you soon. All the best to you. There he is, the Underground King himself, returning in August. Great to see him in good spirits, and great to see the eye doing good as well. All right, so that's a former Bellator champion. Now let's go to a brand new Bellator champion, the brand new Bellator middleweight champion, the one and only Rafael Lovato Jr. joins us right now. I believe he's in the airport leaving London. Is that accurate, Rafael?
Yes, sir. Sorry about the circumstances. I'm getting ready to head to Spain for a little vacation. I got this Ben & Jerry's in the background. I can now look at that stuff and not lose my mind, so I'm pretty happy.
Well, I'm sure you're happy about the win as well, and no problem. But this is what we do for new champions. We change the whole show around to accommodate your schedule. So happy that you're able to join us.
Thank you.
No problem. For a few minutes, has it sunk in just yet? You're a Bellator middleweight champion. You just beat one of the greatest fighters of all time, Gegard Mousasi, on Saturday in a phenomenal fight. Has that reality sunk in?
Not quite. It's all so surreal. I dreamed it so many times, and then for it to actually be here is just like, you think because I saw it so many times in my dreams that it'd be like, oh yeah, this is, I was ready for this, but not really. I'm just riding this amazing wave of momentum and energy and love right now. I've barely slept at all since the fight. Just received so many messages and was very grateful. It was a war, and it just felt like a Rocky movie, and I mean, it was surreal. It's just surreal.
You won via majority decision. One judge actually had it 47-47. How confident were you that you actually won the fight?
I knew that I was able to pull 3 rounds. I just wasn't sure about that. What was it, 4th round when I got dropped, and that's what caused that one judge to have a draw. So I was a little worried that everyone else might have seen that as a 10-8. But when I heard the first judge say 47, they read the first score as a draw and the rest weren't, I was pretty sure at that point that I was going to be able to get it. But it was an extremely close fight, definitely. It all came down to that 5th round.
And that was your 10th pro fight. You've competed on big stages before in jiu-jitsu, and we're looking at some great scenes, courtesy of Bellator, from the fight on Saturday in London. But did this feel different for you? I mean, like I said, you're fighting a legend. You're fighting for your first major title. You're fighting in the main event of a big show. Did it feel different? Did you feel a little more nervous in the early going of the fight, and maybe that contributed to your performance early on?
Hello?
Did I lose you? Do you still hear me?
Yeah, no, I'm here. Sorry. I wasn't too nervous. There was definitely a few moments where I was like, okay, I need to be very sharp. Like, this is Mousasi standing in front of me. Going into the 4th and 5th rounds, especially after his powerful 3rd round and the momentum kind of swaying, I was like, man, 2 more rounds. It was a bit of an intense moment. And those are my first time to do championship rounds, and I'm doing them against a legend, a guy that's been there so many times. And I dropped the 4th round as well. But then that 5th round, I don't know, man, something just came over me and it just said, you can do this. Let's go out there, give everything you have. Let's get this round. This is your time, your chance, your moment. And, I was able to pull through, and I'm very happy and proud of how I got that 5th round, my very first 5th round ever against one of the greats.
Yeah.
And that led me to the victory. So, I'm very, very happy with that.
In that clip that we just showed, there's a moment where your mom actually goes up to Mousasi and thanks him for the opportunity for you to fight him. And it seems, just based off your social media, that you're very close with your mom. I see you mentioning her, showing pictures of you and her. Can you talk about your relationship with her? Why are you guys so close? And does she usually go to all your fights? There we're seeing your mom very happy at some of your fights as well.
Yeah, no, she is at all my fights. My dad's in my corner. Have a very, very close. It's a team, but really we're a family. And she's right there. She's the kind of the centerpiece of love for everybody. And it's something that we always do. We always give respect to our opponents. And I think she could see that Mousasi was pretty disappointed, and she wanted to stop him and wish him well. And, of course, thank him for the opportunity because, he is a legend. He is a champ. He could fight basically anybody he wants. And he gave me the opportunity. I think it was really cool that my mom was able to do that. I, unfortunately, did not have the chance to shake Mousasi's hand after they read off the decision. He left so quickly. So she kind of did it in my place, I guess.
You just turned 36. Happy birthday to you. In fact, if my math is correct, Saturday was your birthday, right? You won this on your birthday.
Well, no, actually, they wished me a happy birthday a little early. My birthday is tomorrow, Tuesday,
okay.
25th. So, I already got my gift early, and now I'm off for vacation for my birthday as a world champ. Man, it's incredible.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so I guess online they need to update that because it says 22nd is your birthday, but nevertheless, close enough. And you only made your debut in 2014, meaning you were, 32 or so, a little later. And of course, you had a great run as a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Why did you enter MMA later on in life?
Well, it was all about making sure there was no regrets, no point in my in my career where I would look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done more in jiu-jitsu. Wish I would have, tried to win this tournament more or anything like that. I gave jiu-jitsu everything I had until the point where I felt like, there was nothing left for me to prove. I was very proud of my career, and I always knew at some point I wanted to do MMA. And, it worked out great because I was already in my 30s, mature. I knew exactly who I was, what I was fighting for. And, I've been able to go on a great run since, and I think that's why. In
2014, I believe you had major shoulder surgery, and you posted that photo recently. I think we have that photo where you were telling people, like, at that time when you suffered the injury, there you are after surgery, and saying you didn't know what was going to happen to your career, if you'd ever be able to really realize your potential as an MMA fighter. How did you suffer that injury? And do you remember how you felt, sitting over there in the hospital? And if I would have told that guy around 5 years ago that he would become a champion in Bellator and beat someone like Gegard Mousasi, would he have believed me?
He definitely would not have believed you. My whole life was on pause. Everything was up in the air. And that moment is definitely one of the toughest and darkest moments of my life. I went through some deep depression coming out of that. I actually suffered that injury training jiu-jitsu. It was just a freak thing. And nothing crazy. My arm didn't roll behind my neck or anything like that. My arm actually barely moved, but it was just the way the forces were on that moment. It just snapped. My shoulder couldn't take it. And, that whole process really made me find who I was and really align myself with, what my goals were and what I wanted to do coming back. And once I felt like I had a second run left inside of me, it became all about MMA and just sort of being young again, having that dream as I did when I was a kid growing up in jiu-jitsu to become a black belt world champion. I just reset that into MMA, and I told myself that, I think I could do this in a 5-year run. And I basically have made it to a major organization and just climbed the mountain as quickly as I could. Every fight has been harder than the last. And, then next thing you know, I'm in there with a legend, and it all just, it came together in a beautiful way. It's incredible. It's surreal. And
you guys were supposed to fight back in January, and he pulled out because he got hurt. My understanding was they were thinking about booking you in another fight. Did you feel like the gods were conspiring against you and that your title shot was being taken away from you? Were you worried about that?
I was very worried about that. I didn't understand, we didn't understand the extent of his injury and how much time he needed. So I was left in limbo, wondering. And I tried to stay ready because I thought maybe it could just be a quick turnaround, something we could do a month or two later. And, it finally looked like it was going to take a while. And I did consider doing another fight, but I was like, man, I've already put so much of my energy. I already did half of a camp. All my focus was set on him. I just didn't feel like I could go anywhere else with my focus as far as MMA. So I did a couple grappling matches just to stay busy. And then I got the call, and for me, it all worked out even better. I had more time to prepare, and we got to headline London. I got to bring all my friends and family to London and do this big show. I mean, it was destiny. The way it went, the way it was supposed to go.
I feel. Do you have to board your plane?
I'm good. She just gave me a thumbs up. I have 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Okay, I'll that's amazing. I'll ask you one question. Machida Mousasi, it feels like it's a 2-horse race as far as who would be your first title defense. If you had your way, who are you picking?
Man, I mean, it'd be awesome to fight Machida, another legend, and get that experience. I just spent 7 months thinking about Mousasi pretty much every day, because of the postponement. So it'd be nice to be able to put my mind somewhere else and think about someone else for a little bit and get a chance to face another legend. I'm not sure what Machida's plans are, if he wants to stay at 205 or go after the middleweight title. But it'd be an honor to make him my first defense, the Dragon versus the American Samurai. And then, let Mousasi pick up another win or just wait, whatever he wants to do. And we can do the rematch after that. So
Okay.
There's my name.
There you are. All right. Do your thing, my man. Congratulations to you. Thank you for doing this. Wow, you did it under a lot of pressure, and I didn't even notice. So thank you for doing it. Safe travels, and happy birthday. And congrats on the win.
Thank you very much for having me. Sorry about the circumstances, and I'm used to the pressure, as you can see.
Absolutely.
Look forward to next time.
All right.
Take care.
Well done. Rafael Lovato Jr. That's a stressful situation right there. They're calling you on the loudspeaker. You got to board a flight. You're going to Spain to celebrate with your family. And he didn't. I mean, I would be sweating. I did a SportsCenter interview, sorry to name drop, on Friday, and there was 1% left on my camera, and I was freaking out. I was like sweat. It was like pouring out of my head. I was so nervous that it would shut off in the middle of the interview. And this guy's just chilling. Plane's about to leave, and he's just chilling, talking to us. Well done. Rafael Lovato Jr., new Bellator champion, beat Gegard Mousasi. Amazing. I have a feeling they'll go with Machida next, but let's see what happens there, because you can make a case for Mousasi earning a rematch as well. Great performance from him. Congratulations. Well done, Lovato Jr. All right, let us move along to our next guest. This was a big story last week. We spoke to him a week ago around this time. Brendan Loughnane, the Mercurian. He went to Las Vegas. He fought on the Dana White Contender Show. He won. He looked impressive. Dare I say, he had the most impressive performance, and yet he is still not a member of the UFC. I talked about it at length. Controversial decision. I'm happy that he's on the show. I'm glad that he's giving us some time here to talk about it all. Brendan, thank you for doing this.
Not a problem, Ariel. I've done something right if we can get on your show twice in a week.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, you may not have gotten a UFC contract, my friend, but you have a home here, okay? I was impressed. You should be there, and we'll get to all of that. 6 days later, how are you feeling about all of this?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. Like I say, the only thing you can do in this life is go and give your best, and I did that. So whatever anyone else says or does after that, it's their opinion and whatever. But I went in there, left it all in that fight, so that's all I can do.
Have you watched the fight again?
I haven't.
Based on what you remember, is there anything that you wish you could have done differently?
Yeah, not going for a takedown.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because I can't even believe that you say that. I understand why you say that. What is going through your mind? Let's say 20 seconds left. Do you have any recollection what's going through your mind that leads you to shooting for that double leg?
Yeah, so here's the point. So leading up to that fight, the plan was, Aljo's good everywhere. We're going to have to mix our takedowns in. And also, I did a pre-fight thing where I said, look, all the UK guys get absolutely slated for not wrestling. So I thought, I'm a good wrestler, and I thought I'd show that in the fight too. There's 30 seconds left. I can hear Brendan points from Dominic Cruz and the other cornerman. Let's get the points. And I know the biggest point scorer is a takedown, which is confusing, because then you get told now it's not. So it's like, where's that really at? So I was beating the guy up on the feet, landing some great shots, and just mixed it up with a takedown, and fortunately it cost me a contract.
And so when you hear that explanation, when you see the reaction, what is going through your mind as a mixed martial artist? Like, this is being painted as a negative thing, as almost a thing that is a detriment to your performance, as almost illegal in a way. Like, it's such a horrible thing. How dare you shoot for a takedown? What is going through your mind when you're listening to that?
Yeah, it is kind of confusing, especially like when I grew up in the sport, because I've been in it a long time now too, is that takedown, you get a takedown, you won the fight. That's what it used to be like, and now it's obviously detrimental. But I get the concept of the show. I just wish it was explained a bit better, that you better stand and bang, because I've got absolutely no problem doing that, as I've shown in all my other fights. So if I would have known that, I would have done that. But hindsight's a great thing, but I did what I could.
After the fight was over, you go to the back. What are you thinking? Do you think you got it?
I wasn't sure. I mean, I asked Dominic Cruz, I said, what do you think? And he's like, yeah, 100%, bro, it's good. So didn't know, and then obviously you put in front of Deron and you told no, and that moment there wasn't a very nice feeling, to be honest, especially when, I thought I had a great performance, and the other guys on the show was, you want to give me someone that's 3-0, I'll show you straight killer instinct and savagery, but I got the hardest fight out of everyone. And when you're having tough fights against high-level opponents, that's how the fights go sometimes, as you know. Right.
When you have that scene where you guys are all sitting there and you're listening to the explanation, what is that like?
So It's a bit crazy, to be honest. You've got about 20 cameras on you. There's loads of people just stood there, and then it's like you get a camera thrown in your face and told, no, it's not you. And then it's like, no one tells you to get up. No one tells you to do it. And you're like, what do I do now? Like, I just want to be on my own. And that's kind of how it felt.
Right. And so even if someone says, like, we want straight killers in there, the thing that I'm having a hard time coming to terms with, Brendan, is that we're not talking about you shooting with 60 seconds left or 90 seconds left and laying on top of your opponent, just riding out a victory. We're talking about 10 seconds here. Very likely you are not knocking him out in those 10 seconds. If anything, you're going back and forth. Okay, it's a nice little sequence, but we're talking about 10 seconds. Don't you feel like this is all getting a little too crazy? Like it's a little overblown what we're talking about here?
I mean, yeah, especially when you've had such a great fight, Ariel, and like you're going back and forth, and he's landing good shots, you're landing good shots. You put on a great fight. We had the whole place standing on their feet. Everyone at home loved the fight, you know. And I just thought, you know, with that kind of performance, I'm sure that's what you want out in the entertainment business, and we definitely entertained. And I don't think the other fights were very entertaining. No disrespect to them, but you know, fair play to them. They went and got their contract, and I'm happy for everyone else on the show. But I definitely think I did enough.
What did you think of the Apex, that new facility, now that you actually got the fight in there? What was that like?
It's kind of surreal. It was, you know, I fought on the Ultimate Fighter before, so I fought in like kind of like an empty room, and that's what it felt like. It's like a weird feeling, like, especially when you're having such a great fight and you're used to crazy crowds going mental. There's none of that going on, and like it's a really subdued atmosphere, and it makes it very real because, like I say, there's only a handful of people. Well, there's probably about 100 people in there when you're used to fighting in front of 5,000. But the actual facilities and the arena is incredible.
Do you feel like there is more to this decision, or you're just being judged on the fight itself?
I have no idea. I've been number one in Europe for about 6 years, and I've watched number 6, 7, 8, 15, 12 get signed. I get on this stage, I get my chance. People say I should have got a chance on a proper card, but I took this opportunity because it was the first one that came. I go in and put a world-class performance, and you still don't get one. So now I don't even know where I'm at, to be honest, but someone's going to have to give me a good offer now to get back in there on another show.
Okay, so you're not a conspiracy theorist? Like, nothing else has happened? I'm trying to just figure out if something else has happened in the past between you and the UFC, someone there, just to kind of make sense of all of this.
I ask myself the same question every day.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, there's nothing?
Absolutely nothing. I not that I can think of. Let's say I fought there. I fought Norman Park on the Ultimate Fighter, Patrick Idice. I fought Mike Wilson, and I fought Bill Aljo, and every single one of them fights have been barnstormers. You can go and watch them all. Great performances. And then, yeah, I'm still sat here talking about why I've not got a contract. It's crazy to me, honestly.
And so, to the best of my knowledge, they have 30 days to sign from the fight itself. So from last week, if you win on the Contender Series, they have a 30-day window where they can sign you exclusively. Is that accurate?
I don't know anything about that. To be honest, I didn't really read what I signed, but yeah, maybe.
Maybe you should. That's my understanding. Meaning, if you lost the fight, you can go sign anywhere. But for the next now 24 or so days, you can't go sign with someone else tomorrow. They have the rights to you. I'm just wondering, did you get any kind of impression? Because I saw a lot of people afterwards say, oh, this is all part of a master plan. They're going to sign him. It's making him into a bigger star. They're going to pick him up. All that. Did you get any impression off camera, behind the scenes, that you're someone that they're still very interested in and you have a chance to be signed?
Absolutely no way. I didn't even speak to Dana White. The only time I've ever seen Dana White in my whole life was when I come out of that cage, shook his hand, and then went in the back. I've never seen him since, never seen him before. And if this is part of some master plan, this is the first news that I know, because nobody even come and spoke to me. So, and thanks for letting me know about the 30-day thing, because I didn't even know about that myself. So, thank you for letting me know.
And matchmaker, executive, no one went to the back to speak to you afterwards. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the fight. Thank you for your time. Good luck. Nothing.
No.
Wow. Does that surprise you?
I mean, listen, I know what I signed up for. I signed up for a prize fight, for a chance at a contract. I don't want no patting on the back. I don't want anything. Like I say, leading up to that fight, I had a great camp, and I put everything into the fight. I won every single round, beat the guy hard to death. Still don't get what I went there for. So now it's time to move on and see what's what.
Do you even want to re-sign with the UFC or sign with the UFC, I should say? Do you have any interest after going through all of this? If they called you tomorrow and said, we have an opportunity next month for you, are you interested?
I mean, it's the UFC and it's what I've worked towards, but I don't know, it's just pretty hard at the minute, especially like, we're only 6 days on. I'm sure I'll get over it, but right now it's still quite hard to take,
I know that Bellator is going out and trying to sign every free agent in the UK. My understanding is they actually did speak to you not that long ago, but you wanted to try to hold out hope to go sign with the UFC. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, that was a few people. That was PFL, that was KSW, that was Bellator. And yeah, I spoke to every single one of them, and I waited out for the contenders to try and make my dream happen. So yeah, that's where I was at with that. So what happens from here, sure, I'll open up communication with all them again.
Do you regret that now?
No, not one bit. No. I'm an opportunist. I like to say, even though this was the lowest money and the least opportunity, well, it was the best opportunity if I would have won and would have got the contract. But I mean, in terms of like financial gain, it was the lowest. And in terms of like these Bellator and PFL offers a chance to win $1 million in 5 months, and some of the other offers were really good. So, like I say, it's not the do all and end all. I'll go back and I'll look at them with my team, and I'm excited for the future, Ariel.
Yeah, I mean, do you take away any silver linings? Do you see any silver linings in all of this? You are a lot more well known. I mean, Wednesday, the day after, the whole MMA world was talking about you. You were the biggest story. That has to be good, right?
I mean, that's definitely a positive you can take out of it. I mean, I've had a few unlucky decisions I've talked to you about, and no one really got to see them. At least now I've been, I don't know, unjustly done, you could say, in front of the world. Everyone got to see it, every reporter. I mean, you, Luke Thomas, and all the other shows, and everyone did a breakdown on it. And then I'm sure you saw Pete's rant. And,
legendary.
Yeah, it was, it was legendary, and it was heartwarming. And thank you to everyone that got behind me, especially yourself, your kind words. And it was great to see. And it definitely cheered me up on the Wednesday morning with my broken nose.
Did you, in fact, break your nose?
Yeah, I broke my nose and I pissed blood.
Yeah. Okay, well, first let me ask about the nose. Do you need surgery on the nose?
No, Ariel, this ain't my first rodeo.
Okay. And the peeing of blood, is that a common thing for you?
No, that's happened once before, about 5 years ago. And it was them teeps to the gut. They gave me like 5 of them, and every single one was hurting. And then I got into my hotel room after the fight. And then I walked into the toilet and I was like, oh, you know what? I said, I'm actually going to document this because of some of the comments that were made.
Yeah. You
don't leave it all in there and this and that. I thought, I'll show everybody what I really put into this sport. And that's why I put it on Instagram.
Yeah. And what is that like when like blood is coming out? Like, does it feel different? Does that hurt? What is that like?
No, it just feels like you're having a normal pee.
Okay,
and then all of a
gosh.
sudden it's red. It's like, oh no.
Oh, man.
That's not good.
And
actually, I should probably get checked out. I've not actually checked what that was yet.
And how long does that last?
It was just one.
Oh, just one. Okay. All right. Well, I guess it's better.
I wonder what that actually is. If anyone knows, can you please message me?
Yeah. And speaking of which, what's going on with your Instagram? You've been locked out of it?
So then after the fight, UFC had highlights of my fight. And I was like, oh, yeah. I reposted it, put it on, and then all of a sudden you've been blocked. I got blocked on like the most important time I had on Instagram when everyone actually wanted to see my Instagram. I couldn't put anything on for like 4 or 5 days, so I learnt my lesson. Sorry to the UFC.
And are you back?
I'm back in business, thank God.
Man, when it rains, it pours, huh? They got you from both sides there.
Whoa, they locked me down, Ariel. They kicked me out and locked me down.
My gosh, the man holding you down. I can't imagine what it must be like. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I can't imagine what it's like to fight in a fight like that, fight your heart out, break your nose, urinating blood, win the fight, and then have to go online and hear people say, you're not a killer, bro. You didn't leave it all out there. Like, these people who have never fought before, who don't have the balls to fight in there. Like, it's just amazing that we're breeding this kind of fan, right? Like, what exactly does a killer mean? What does that mean, killer? Like, I feel like you would never even hear that term be used in boxing or any other combat sport. I want killer. What does that mean? It's such a sophomoric term. Our sport is better than that, in my opinion. And so I can't imagine some of the stuff that you were hearing.
Yeah, well, like you say, I thought we'd moved on from them days when we started putting gloves on and we started having rules. And I tried to show a full array of martial arts. Like I said, I'm from England. Everyone says we can't wrestle. Oh, you English guys just get put on your back and you can't get up. So I thought I'd go out and show you how to take down a D1 wrestler, which how many English people have done that? Control them on the floor, take the back of a black belt, beat him with 7 right hands. I've shown every facet of mixed martial arts for 15 minutes, which is better than a 30-second low kick knockout in my eyes. I've shown my full diversity. I've shown that I can hang with the top guys. And I thought that's what we're in this for. But clearly the premise of that show is to go out and be a savage.
A killer, Brendan. Get it right. Killer. Now, I spoke to you last week about some of the other disappointing losses in your career. You've only had 3, but Pat Healy and Tom Duquesnoy. Are you starting to get those feelings again? Like, screw all of this. I don't want to do this anymore.
I mean, at this stage now, 29, 17-3, we should be looking at 20-0 now. I'm sat here talking to you like I just lost a fight and I've done one of my best performances. So it's like, where do you really go from here? And I think now it has to be a very good offer now, and someone has to come and go, right, we're going to give you this and this, and then make it worth my while right now.
Is there anyone of note or anything that was said to you in the aftermath of all of this that really stuck to you, that you were surprised this person reached out to you, gave you some advice on how to deal with this? Wow.
If you'd have seen my inbox, it was insane. And it was like, Paul Daly sent me a sick message. Linacre, Vassell, who else? There was just so many encouraging, heartwarming messages like, well done, bro. Every time something like this happens, you always end up seeing why you really do it, and the people that are watching, and you're inspiring. And that's what I took from this fight. A lot of people say, like I say, I'm sat talking to you that I lost this fight and I just smashed the guy in 3 rounds, and it's like, why am I feeling like this? But I'm sure it'll blow over, and there's plenty more to come from me, as you can see.
Yeah. And I'm just curious. I mean, it's hard to know in the moment, and it's almost not fair to Puna Soriano, but did you watch his fight either during or after you found out, and compare like your performance to his and say like, how did he get in and I not get in? Did you think about that at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, these guys are very green, 5-0, 3-0 getting in there. So I'm a seasoned veteran now, and I think I put on a world-class performance of all facets of MMA. I mean, these guys, no disrespect, but like I say, if you give me someone that's 3-0 and someone that's inexperienced like that, then you'll see what this thing is, what they're talking about. But if you're going to give me a UFC level fight and a world-class opponent, then expect a fight like that. So no disrespect to them, and I'm happy for them getting in. But like I say, I had the hardest fight of the night by far.
Yeah. Did you talk to him afterwards? Did he talk to you?
Who's my opponent?
No, Puna.
Puna, no, I've not spoke to him. And I spoke to the heavyweight guy. He was sat next to me, and he was such a humble, really nice guy. And he was like, they were showing us our highlights of our fights. He was like looking at me like, whoa. He's like, you're a killer, bro. And then he got his contract, and I was super happy for him. He had his little kid there, and I was super pumped for him.
And having Dominic Cruz in your corner, I'm sure that helped you as well, especially in the aftermath. What did he say to you?
Oh, he was heartbroken. We were all heartbroken. We all left there on that bus like a loss.
Yeah.
After winning 3 rounds, it was like we're all just like all down, and it was like, why am I like? You shouldn't have to feel like that after you beat someone's ass. But that was definitely a surreal feeling there. And I thought having me and Dominic as a team would help me, get. So say there is something close like that on the edge of getting a contract, maybe having Dominic there and Dominic's blessings and telling him how good I was, maybe that would have helped, but obviously not. So God knows what can get Brendan Loughnane into the UFC now.
Where do you go from here? What is your plan now? You're just going to sit back and wait? You want to take some time off? What's your line of thinking?
Yeah, time off, letting the nose heal up. I've definitely got some thinking to do on where I wanted to go now, because like I say, it's an 11-year journey. It's not just a 6-year journey. This is 11 years I've put into this sport now, and it took me 6 years to get back into a position where I could get a contract. I left my heart and soul in there to get that contract. Still wasn't enough, so now I have to reassess what my goals were. I had 3 goals when I started fighting. One was to fight in the UFC, one was to headline the MCann Arena where I live, and one was to fight in Las Vegas. I've done all 3 of them now. and it's time to reassess where we go from here.
Okay. And so even though, you know, this particular thing didn't work out, people forget you did have your chance in the UFC. It's not now in your career where, you know, you probably want it to be where you feel like you're really firing on all cylinders. But I think initially some people might think like, wait a second, you didn't get a chance to fight in the UFC. No, you did. It was just 7 years ago. And again, I think you deserve to be there and you should be there. And the idea that you're not UFC caliber, can't hang in the UFC because you went for a takedown with 10 seconds left, still gives me a headache. I can't imagine how you feel about this, my friend, but I'm happy to see that you're in good spirits and you're not letting it get to you too much, unless you're just putting on a front right now and you're a very good actor, because I'm very frustrated about all of this, Brendan. But I think there is a silver lining to all this, and I think that a lot more people know who you are, and you've become a big story, and I think you've become a very sympathetic character, and a lot of people are now pulling for you to be as successful as possible. So I hope you know that there are a lot of people who have your back and think that you certainly deserve to be fighting on the biggest stage possible.
I genuinely mean that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone that sent me a message. Thank you to Pizza, yourself, and Luke Thomas, and everyone that's got involved in this situation. And let's see, you know, this might not be the end. Who knows? Who knows what comes from this situation? Like you say, I've got a lot of publicity, so let's hold tight with this one. All
right, Brendan, well done, my friend. Get well soon. The nose and everything, and the blood peeing and all that. And I hope that you remain in good spirits and that good news is coming your way. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, you won that fight, okay? Try to remind yourself, you actually won that fight. That was a W that goes on your record. It was a job well done.
My man, thank you very much, Ariel.
All right, there he is, Brendan Loughnane. Can I get it right for once? Someone just wrote, I don't want to say it because I'm afraid to say it. Let me see. Someone wrote it to me just here moments ago. Mancunian, okay? I screwed it up before. I want to get it right. Thank you, Stamina MC. Mancunian, all right? The Mancunian himself. Respect that man. He should be in the UFC. He should be fighting on the highest of stages possible. And if it doesn't work out there, then so be it. So be it. But I still can't believe that we're talking about a takedown with 10 seconds left. A takedown with 10 seconds left. Not 90 seconds, not 60 seconds, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Unbelievable. All right, let us move along and say hello to our next guest. It's been a while since we've had Liz Carmouche on the program. I'm happy to say hello to her now. She fights for the UFC women's flyweight title on August 10th against Valentina Shevchenko. This is a fascinating matchup. We say hello now to Liz Carmouche. Liz, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us. What was your reaction when you found out that they were moving you from the July 20th fight against Roxanne Modafferi to a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko?
I was super excited. I mean, I think you know from previously talking to me in the past that what I'm always aiming for is that championship. It doesn't matter who the face is, who holds the belt. That's what ultimately that I'm always working towards. So to have an opportunity to go right into that is perfect. And fortunately, we were already training for as if it was a championship fight, just because why not overtrain and be prepared and be able to essentially sprint through a 15-minute round. And so it was just extra time to get ready for this fight.
Were you caught off guard by this? It's rare to have someone like move off of another fight and get a title shot, or did you think after Valentina's last win that this was something that could happen?
No, I never thought that I would get a phone call and say, hey, in lieu of doing this fight against Roxanne, it's going to be for the belt. I never thought that was going to happen. But like I said, I prepare as if the championship fight is always going to happen. So in one sense, very much surprised. In another sense, prepared for the possibility.
And again, a lot of newer fans might not know this, but you actually gave Valentina Shevchenko her first pro loss back in 2010. What, if anything, do you remember from that fight?
I think the biggest thing is that it was such a shady organization. I mean, because really, I think most people don't know, like you said, is that fight, I was actually supposed to fight her sister because we had a very similar record, both brand new to MMA, very inexperienced. And then you had Valentina, who'd been doing it, I think, 10 years, at least just in combat sports in general with Muay Thai and boxing, previous to that. And then we got there, we looked at the poster, we're like, that doesn't look right. Wait a second. First of all, she's standing as a southpaw, and the hair is blonde, not brunette. I'm really confused. And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, no, my contract says it's the other sister, but I'll still take the fight.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like one of those things where the last minute they showed up, tried to trick me. We took the fight anyway, and were able to pull off the win with like last 10 seconds, last 15 seconds of the fight, cutting her.
Wait a second. So do you think that they were in on this? Do you think they tried to trick you?
You know, I heard a lot of bad things from other fighters that fought for that organization, the shady things pulled. So I don't know if I know as far as like Valentina's camp, they were just as surprised as we were. They didn't know the confusion. So as far as the camps, it wasn't like they were trying to do something shifty and trying to do something that was questionable. It was the fight organization itself, which to my knowledge doesn't exist today. Fortunately, so this doesn't happen to other fighters.
And the name of the promotion, by the way, for those wondering, is C3 Fights, and that's in Oklahoma. Did you know anything about Valentina when you took that fight against her on short notice?
No, we've done a little bit of research just because both sisters were fighting. And I think originally they had mentioned her name, and my coach looked up and he's like, no, she's brand new. She's only been training for a few months. You know, she's down to fight, but she's just not conditioned enough. She's too green to the sport than possibly going into this fight. The sister, perfect, makes sense, absolutely. So we did look her up a little bit, but not too crazy, because she was a Muay Thai fighter and a boxer at that point, not really into MMA, whereas her sister and I think were both 2-0 at that point. So it just made for a good suggestion for us to fight together, and ended up being Valentina instead.
I tried to find footage of it. I was having a hard time. Could you tell us how the fight played out? In the end, you won via doctor stoppage, I believe, going into the third round. But could you tell us how it actually played out?
Yeah, you know, because it was very vague, still new in my career. Like I said, I think it was the second or third pro fight for me. And so I don't remember much about that night. I remember it, like, not being well lit, not being warmed up, us being very cold. And I just remember with an up kick that I was able to cut her over the eye, and it just wouldn't stop bleeding. And unfortunately, it kept bleeding into her eye, and that's really significant when I remember just being covered head to toe in her blood, and them trying to stop the fight, her not being able to answer the bell because of the cut over her eye.
Wow. And did you keep tabs on her? Like, are you surprised that that same person has turned into the fighter that she is today? Did you keep tabs on her throughout?
Yes and no. So at that time, I was really surprised because, as far as my understanding, her specialty was in Muay Thai and boxing, and she's just kind of like doing MMA just as a thing to try out, not really her interest. So the fact that she went as far as she did, yeah, absolutely surprised. Skill set wise, not at all. I saw then, obviously what we all see now is that she's a very skilled fighter. So to see where she's at, I'm not surprised. But also very surprised because I thought that she was going to go back to Muay Thai and boxing and pursue that career. So for her to continue with MMA is a real surprise to me.
Did you watch her last fight against Jessica Ai?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Once she got that belt, I've been studying her and watching her ever since.
Okay. What did you think of that performance?
It was exactly what I expected and anticipated. Honestly, I thought she was going to finish her in the first round, not the second round, and called exactly what was going to happen. She's going to set it up with those inside leg kicks, body kicks. I always thought drop her hands and then she'll get knocked out, and it just happened to happen the second round instead of the first.
There appears to be a gap between Shevchenko and a lot of the fighters in that 125-pound weight class. We spoke to Paige Van Zandt last week, and she called her terrifying, which is kind of unique to hear from a fellow fighter in that particular weight class. Do you buy into the hype? Like, do you feel like she is getting the respect that she deserves? Like, I think she's the most dominant champion right now in the UFC. Do you feel like all that is warranted?
I think anybody that holds the belt, of course that's warranted. I'm going to do nothing but respect the person that holds the belt because they work to get that. And so I think to not pay them respect would be silly and kind of be a setup for myself. So I certainly respect that the efforts that she's put in, the skill set she has, represents exactly what the championship should be.
Do you consider her to be terrifying as well?
No.
I have a feeling you've never considered any of your opponents to be terrifying.
Not really. No, not yet.
Yeah, that something tells me. And so when you got this opportunity, I'm assuming you said yes right away. You didn't have to think twice, correct?
Yeah, I didn't hesitate. Not at all. I mean, I've been telling my not only my coaches, but telling my management that, hey, there's no doubt if I ever get the call, if somebody backs out of a fight, it's last minute, 10 days notice, I will absolutely take that fight without hesitation. So just let them know, let the UFC know, I'm ready for this. Whenever it is, like I said, I've been training as if it's a championship fight every single fight, regardless of who it is. So I've just been hoping that somebody else drops out of the fight, not wishing that anybody get injured because I don't wish that upon anybody. But if the opportunity arises that I could replace somebody, that they would give me that call immediately.
Will you watch that first fight 9 years ago in preparation for this one?
if I had footage, I wish. Like, this is back when, one, I was too poor to barely have a cell phone, let alone have, like, one of the fancy ones. I think I had a flip phone at the time. So there's no footage whatsoever. I've tried finding footage. My fight team has, all my coaches, my management, everybody. None of us been able to find footage because it really was out in the middle of nowhere. I think we maybe didn't even have reception because of how far away it was from everything.
Wow.
And then it just kind of, it was 2010, so not many people had all the fancy smartphones that you can just pull up and record everything.
Right. Okay. So, and like, do you remember it enough? Like, will you draw any sort of knowledge from that fight, or do you think that it was too long ago? It doesn't really matter at this point.
Of course it matters, but I don't think it matters in the sense that I'm not the fighter that I was then. I was still so green that I don't think even at that point I'd ever sparred anybody that was a southpaw, let alone fought somebody that was a southpaw. So really, as much as I can take from it, I was still so inexperienced at that time that it'd be foolish of me to look back at that and see how it can play. And she's also grown as a fighter, so I have to see stylistically how both of us have evolved and prepare for those fighters today.
And I also love the story of you getting another crack at the belt after, of course, you fought Ronda Rousey in the first ever female fight and first ever female title fight. And again, sort of along the lines of you not feeling like your opponent is terrified or terrifying, I wonder if you were maybe nervous for that because that was such a big deal. And if this time around, because you've been there, done that, you will be less nervous. Is there anything to that?
No, I think that in both those scenarios that there, or at least on the first one, there were certainly some nerves that went into it. But very quickly when I got there, I felt like that was where I was supposed to be. So those nerves fell away very quickly. And then with each fight, I have less and less nerves. I'm more and more prepared for the fight. You know, the more that you're better into it, you get experience to all the limelight, everything that comes in. And not to say that you get weathered to it, but you certainly get the experience ready to go into it and not be overwhelmed by the experience of being in there.
And of course, you seem to be very close to submitting her in that fight several years ago in Anaheim. How often do you think about that moment, how different your life, how different women's MMA would have been had you won that?
Every now and then it happens, especially somebody will ask me, and it really causes me to sit back and reflect on that fight and just realize how different all of women's MMA possibly could have been had I been the victor and not Ronda. But I really do think things happen for a reason, and maybe it didn't happen then, but I've been preparing for this moment that's about to happen August 10th.
Yeah, like it's amazing. Had you beaten her that night, there's a very good chance we never would have seen Ronda ever again, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
And the whole thing would have been different. It's unbelievable, like the sliding doors there and that particular phenomenon. Are you surprised that she has not come back?
No, I'm not. I'm really not, because I knew her going into it. She had an image of what she pictured her fight career to go like, and none of which included a loss of any sort. So to have two losses the way she did, I think that debunked the theories that she had for herself and how she pictured her fight career going. And when it didn't go in that way, she didn't prepare any other way. So I don't think that she was invested in having a loss on her record. So I wasn't surprised at all that she didn't continue on.
I've noticed you and your teammate Alimale McFarland and some other members of your team, you've been doing this like underwater training in San Diego. What exactly, it looks like the toughest thing in the world, like the endurance that you must have, the cardio. What exactly is that? What exactly are you guys doing?
It's a blast. So essentially what we're doing is we're trying to do any endurance, any strength activities under a CO2 max, so CO2 tolerance. So you don't have the benefit of having oxygen, obviously, because you're deep underwater. You also have the benefits of having that deep water compression to help promote healing. And it takes all the impact. So if you're doing any weight training underwater, that takes impact away from your body, so you're not going to endure that smashing hardness that you usually have in weight training and in running. But it's also an element where you build a sense of confidence knowing that I can grapple underwater and I can defend the submission. I can put on the submission with no oxygen, doing this underwater for anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So it's kind of an accumulation of everything altogether.
So what's the longest you've gone underwater without coming up to take a breath?
The longest is 2 minutes.
Wow, 2 minutes. Holy smokes. Who has the record right now, and how long is that among your teammates?
It wouldn't be around the teammates. It's one of the instructors, Rick. I think his record is over 3 minutes of a breath hold.
Oh my
and this
gosh.
guy, like any activities we do, he's insane. He's a fish. He goes underwater. He does the activities. We play gameplay. We all grapple, score the goal, and he's just sitting there waiting like, let's just go ahead and just start the next one. Look, you can come up for air. It's okay. Like, are you insane?
Wow.
And he just looks so relaxed. It's insane. He's able to get into this whole new state, in tune with his body, in a state of mental focus. that allows them to know that I can go through all this and still calm my body and not need that desperation stare.
And you're actually grappling under there, or are you just kind of going through the motions?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, we're definitely grappling under there.
My God, that's unbelievable. And going for like chokeholds and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
But there's a few of us, like the MMA fighters, going into it, and we all communicate with each other and some of the instructors that are very comfortable enough underwater that we will do chokeholds. Other than that, it's usually just holding on to each other and joint manipulation moves, but without chokeholds. There's only a few of us that actually do choke moves to each other.
And have you already felt a difference? Like, is this helping you in training in your fights?
Big time. Yeah, not only have I noticed a difference, like I said, just in the grappling aspect, knowing that, oh, okay, well, I'm in this submission, and, oh, no, what am I going to do? Like, I'm stuck. This is deep. I'm like, oh, wait, I can do I can breathe. I can stay in this until that person gets gassed out. And then having the ability where you think that maybe your arms are fatigued and you're gassed out and you can't put on that rear naked choke, or you can't submit somebody, you know that you can because you've done it underwater. And then just the endurance, my body feels healthier because, like I said, that deep compression helps promote healing in your body. But also any of the stuff that I do underwater isn't wearing and tearing my body. So all of that, it's just made such a difference in each fight camp.
And finally, back to Valentina. In your mind, in your coach's mind, what is something that you must not do against her? What are things that you have seen other people do in her fights recently, since she's dropped down to 125 and looked so good, that you cannot replicate in this fight?
I think the biggest thing that everybody has done is they think of like a snake charmer or a snake charmer. Is they do their little song and dance and people are enticed into their tempo. It's the same thing. Everybody's falling into her tempo and letting her set the pace. When anybody throws her off of her tempo and doesn't let her dictate how the whole fight goes, they do well. Like look at Nunez against her. It's everybody that falls in and lets her set the whole tempo of the fight that falls into a loss with her.
I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a fascinating fight, and I know a lot of people are counting you out, but I'm not counting you out, Liz. I feel like I feel like you're going to give her a tough fight, and I'm not ready to count you out. You have been there, you have done that, you have seen it all, and you have a win against her to boot. So I'm sure that gives you confidence going into this, even though it was kind of a crazy scenario as well. I wish you the best. Thank you very much for doing this, Liz, and good luck on August 14th.
Thank you so much.
All right, there she is, Liz Carmouche. Yes, August 14th in Uruguay. Montevideo, to be exact, the Antel Arena. Kind of crazy. I didn't know that. She was supposed to fight Antonina Shevchenko, and then they did the old switcheroo on her. Unbelievable. That's not very nice. And then she still won. It was a long time ago, but still, that's got to give you confidence. Via doctor stoppage. C3 Fights Red River Rivalry, September 30th, 2010. So almost 9 years ago in Concho, Oklahoma. That was her 5th pro fight. What number pro fight was it for Valentina? Her 7th. She was 7-0 going into that. So I guess that was her 8th pro fight. And Carmouche was 4-0 going into that. So there you have it, August 10th. And like I said, and by the way, the Carmouche Shevchenko fight was on the table for July 20th, as I reported. Let's just say a little switcheroo was done. We could talk about that later. But bottom line is, they went with Leon Edwards versus RDA, and Uruguay is getting Shevchenko versus Carmouche 2. Speaking of Leon Edwards, I've been doing this thing on my Instagram lately where I give you my mensch of the week or my menches of the week. He's a part of it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I've been having a lot of fun doing it, highlighting, spotlighting the good people in the sport, people who are doing good things, positive things, giving back to their communities, giving back to underprivileged kids, or just anything positive, anything kind-hearted. So usually post that Monday night after the show. So check that out on my Instagram, my IGTV at Ariel Helwani, if you are interested. All right, in a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by Johnny Bones Jones. Yes, I said Johnny Bones Jones is going to be joining us. He returns on July 6th, UFC 239, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. His 3rd fight in, 7 months? He told us that he wanted to be active going into that Alexander Gustafsson fight, and he is active. He fought in December against Alex Gustafsson. He won that fight. He fought in March against Anthony Smith, won that fight. And on July 6th, he meets Thiago Santos. It's a great card. International Fight Week, and historically the International Fight Week cards over the past few years have been somewhat snakebitten. Hopefully that's not the case this time around. Let's not waste any more time. Let's say hello to the reigning defending UFC light heavyweight champion, Johnny Bones Jones. Look at him. Wow, John, you're looking great with the suit and everything. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? I had to clean it up just a little bit. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, John. Thank you for doing this. I know you just landed from New Mexico, and so you're probably a little tired. I really appreciate your time here today.
Yeah, just waking up, but I'm ready for you.
All right, my
Thank you.
man.
Thanks for being on the show.
It's always great to talk to you. I have to ask first, because it made some headlines just a couple of days ago. You wrote this very long and impassioned post on your Instagram about managers and trying to, give some advice to young fighters. What prompted that? And could you tell us, who you were talking about, if possible?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about any manager in particular. I was just talking about just all managers. I had a teammate talk to me about, how much he was paying his manager. And I almost forgot that people out there were paying, 25% and stuff like that. I asked the guy what his manager was doing for him, and he said nothing really. He didn't have any sponsors, and the last thing his manager had done for him was sitting in the room and help him negotiate his UFC contract. And I just thought it was just such a huge percentage for a guy who wasn't working really hard for his athlete. So I just wanted to tell fighters out there that I didn't find it normal to pay that type of money. And I thought that guys who do deserve that type of money are guys who are really out there going to bat for these guys and taking care of these guys in every aspect of their life, not just sitting on a contract meeting and calling yourself a manager. For me personally, my management team, they do almost everything for me, and that's why I don't mind paying them good money. I mean, these guys they do things in my personal life for me. They I'm buying and selling houses. I mean, they have a hand in almost everything I'm doing, and I love taking care of my management team because I feel like they earn the money that I give them. But some of these guys out there, man, they're taking from these guys who aren't even making money, and it's just kind of sad.
Are you finding as you get older, I mean, you've been there, you've done it all, you fought everyone. Are you finding a lot of fighters are coming to you for advice these days, and are you enjoying that role? It's amazing. You've grown up in front of our eyes, John. Are you enjoying this sort of veteran leader role these days?
It's I feel like a lot of fighters, especially in my own team, they do look to me for wisdom and advice, and I have been around the game for a long time. I've experienced almost everything there is to experience in this sport, and I do appreciate being able to give back to these guys, because ultimately, I think that's what really creates a healthy legacy. Everyone is fascinated by a person who doesn't lose, but what really matters is lives that you change along the way, and so I am trying to do my part here and there just to get back to the guys who could use it.
So you're fighting a young man named Thiago Santos. He's won 4 in a row, 3 in a row at light heavyweight. He hits very hard. He's an intimidating fellow. Is there anything that he does as far as his actual, skill set that concerns you? Are you worried about him?
No, I'm not worried about him at all. I feel like my fiance is strong enough to knock me out if I put my hands behind my back, right, and let her punch me right in the chin. A lot of people hit hard. Everybody has the power to knock out anybody. My manager can knock me out if I let him punch me in the face. It's about being smart enough to land that punch, and so I'm not worried about heavy hitters. Everyone hits hard. The fighters that concern me the most are the most intelligent fighters. The guys who can set up those punches or set up solid game plan. So I'm not too worried about Thiago. I've fought many guys with big muscles and big knockout powers. I've been doing that since I was, one of the youngest guys in the division. I started doing that at 23 years old. So no, I'm not worried about anything. I just got to go out there, have faith in my abilities and my team that's around me, my intelligence towards the game, and everything else will fall into place.
Has he made this personal between you two? He's taken some shots at you, and I saw you kind of respond via social media. Do you feel like he crossed the line?
No. It's like if you can't insult, my game, people try to insult my personal life. That's something that they all do. you know, and I just gotta be cool with it, you know. I think what he said, my legacy would be one of steroids or something like that. It's he's setting himself up already for failure, you know. If I lose, it's because John's a cheater. It's just the story of my life.
So here we are, less than 2 weeks away. So far, no drama, right? We're good.
So far, it's been no drama. Yeah, everything's been going smooth, man. My training camp's been going great, Ariel. Everyone on the team is working so hard. I've never had the team get behind a card the way they've gotten behind myself, Holly, and Diego. I mean, all the amateurs, all the pros, everyone's just doing whatever they can do to make us better and to kind of serve us. And it's great, man. The team unity is through the roof. I'm so grateful to fight under the Jackson Week banner.
Does it feel weird, like that everything's just going smooth? Like, are you almost like waiting for something to happen? Like it's so calm?
No, it doesn't feel weird. It feels good, man. You know, everybody's doing the right things. You know, staying out of trouble, staying in the gym. Everybody, I'm just trying to do all the right things. The team's trying to do right by us, and it feels right, you know, to have no chaos and no controversy. It feels really good. Now I just gotta seal the deal by getting this big win on the 6th.
Last time you were on the show, you were in studio, and I think you kind of raised some eyebrows with your honesty, saying that, look, I am probably going to mess up. I do drink. I'm not perfect. How has, since we last spoke, do you feel like, you know, you're still staying on the straight and narrow? Do you feel like you're
yeah, man.
Yeah, you're happy?
Yeah, I'm a happy man, Ariel. Everything's going really well for me in my life, man. Like, kids are doing great in school, man. Great hearted little girls. Yeah, home life is good, man. The businesses are great. Sponsors coming back, man. Just blessings and money is just pouring into my life. Everything's going so good right now, man. I really can't complain. You know, I'm doing the right things. Fighting often. You know, trying to keep the fans happy. Honestly, everything's just going really good, man. It's a testament to just, you know, God's love, man, and grace.
Okay, so this is a big fight, obviously, and it's on a big card, but it feels like we're on the cusp of some really big fights coming your way if all goes well on July 6th. Perhaps Luke Rockhold, who's also fighting on the card at 205. Chris Weidman is making his light heavyweight debut sooner rather than later. And, of course, there's the DC fight that everyone always talks about. Do you feel the same way? And if so, do you feel like one's a front runner as far as who would be next after Thiago for you?
I feel like, you know, what do you mean one's a front runner? Like one's got to be up next?
Do you have a gut feeling as to, you know, who's the big fight after this one? Because I feel like there's a big fight waiting for you after this one.
The UFC has made whispers about possible Luke being next, but for me, I don't really care who's next. My job is to be able to beat literally anyone in my division, and that's the journey that I'm on. I've always accepted the toughest guy. I've been fighting the toughest guy since I was 23 years old, you know, so that fast lane is my lane. You know, the tough fights is what I do, and whoever it may be, dude, I'll be ready to step my game up to do what I always do.
What was your reaction when you heard DC say on the show last month that, you know, he is considering dropping down to 205 after this fight to fight you one last time?
He won't do it.
Why not?
He won't do it. I think it takes a lot out of him to make that weight cut. I haven't seen him in person, but I hear that he's bigger than ever. And to lose all that weight and to come up short a third time, it just takes a lot of courage, I would imagine. I don't think he has the balls to do it. I think he knows what to say to the people to appear not afraid of me. But I think deep down inside, you know, he knows what it's like after losing to me twice, going home, crying, and all this. I just doubt he's going to do that to himself again.
Do you think his last fight is in August?
I don't know. I don't really care what Daniel Cormier does, honestly.
Okay, you're done with him.
I've been done with him, yeah. Daniel Cormier is not my toughest opponent. I said Gustafsson was my toughest opponent. He's not this rival that the world wants him to be to me. He's a guy that I've beat twice.
Were you surprised that Gustafsson retired?
Yeah, it was surprising, yes, man. I feel bad because I feel like he has so much more fight left in him. I feel like he beats 80% of the division, maybe 85% of the division. I'm hoping that it's just a little mental thing he's going through and that he's going to get over it and come back, because him being out of the game is doing the sport a disjustice. I I mean, he's great for his area of the world that he represents, and I mean, he's exciting. He's long. He brings that boxing footwork to the game, and like I said, there's a lot of guys that he still beats. So I'd imagine he's gonna kind of get back on his feet, brush himself off, and come back.
Now, the one I'm dying to ask you about, and I'm sure you knew this one was coming, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. What is going on here between you and Israel Adesanya, John? This is entertaining stuff. You talked about him. He talked about you. You show up in the comments. This is. I have to say, you got everyone talking right after his fight back in April. What do you have an issue with Israel Adesanya?
I really don't. I really don't. I think the worst thing I ever said about the kid was that he's looking promising, and I would assume that, people are going to start entertaining that fight soon, and he'll come up and challenge me. That's all I said about him. And I think he said something about killing one GOAT in Anderson Silva and now trying to kill me or some shit like that. And the biggest difference is that I'm 31 years old, and I feel like I am still reaching my prime. If you look back throughout a lot of my fights, you hear guys who's fought me say, John is a lot stronger than he looks. And Israel is light in the ass. He's light. He's skinny. He's skinny. I'll put my hands on him and teach him a whole different world of hurt. For him to be so frail and to not have a ground game is like, bro, you don't want to do it. And then to talk about my stand-up against Anthony Smith with his face all bubbled up against a short wrestler that just did that to him. It was just hilarious. I barely get touched when I fight. And so for Israel to talk about his striking skills being so much farther ahead than mine, it's hilarious. Just to sum up what I think about him, I think he's a little too light in the ass. He needs to eat some more jerk chicken and come holler at me.
He said, your time will come when I say so. Do you feel at some point you guys will fight?
Want me to tell you what that means? I'm a bitch. I can't beat John. And him fighting me when he's ready to really beat me, it's like, dude, don't open your mouth if you can't feel like you can't beat me right now. I would never say that about anyone. Like, oh, I'm not ready to beat him yet. I'm going to come back when I'm good enough to beat him. As if my skills are stagnant and I'm not improving myself. It's silly. What he basically said, and he just worded it how he wanted to, was, I cannot beat John. Anything else he said outside of that doesn't matter.
Do you feel like at some point your paths will cross, or you're not confident of that?
He knows where I'll be.
And that will probably be at 205, right? You're not thinking of heavyweight these days.
I am thinking of heavyweight, Ariel. It's just like not in the forefront. Like, I'm making weight just fine. A lot of people always assume that I'm like a lot bigger than I am, but I'm a light heavyweight, man. I'm a full size light heavyweight who's starting to grow into this grown man strength, man. I feel like I'm getting stronger and more wise in my division, and I feel like heavyweight will come like I don't know what I'm waiting for to go up to heavyweight. Things are just going so well where I'm at. There's no real reason for me to change anything.
Were you disappointed when you heard that Brock wasn't coming back?
No, I wasn't. There's a lot of big fights at heavyweight with or without Brock Lesnar.
What was going on with the whole Stipe thing? It looked like you kind of put it out there that you were thinking about it, and then this fight got announced. Were you actually ever considering that?
Not really. I was just talking trash, keeping the fans excited.
Just stirring the pot?
Just stirring the pot, man.
I respect it.
At the end of the day, yeah, sometimes, the fans want to see some drama. They want to hear some drama. They want to hear you call out people. It keeps them excited, and ultimately it's about them. And so sometimes you just throw out a little nonsense to get people talking, keep the people going.
Well, along those lines, a perfect segue, because I feel like I'm going down a laundry list here, but we don't often get access to, John, so apologies in advance. But I have to ask, Dillon Danis, what's going on with Dillon Danis?
Dude, nothing's going on with him.
What's happening there? How did this even start between you two? You're not even in the same promotion. You're not in the same weight class. You're off by 2 weight classes. What's his issue with you?
I think he knows I'm the type of guy to respond, and it's getting his following up, and so So I think that's what's going on with him. At the end of the day, I don't come out and talk trash about these guys, that just came out of nowhere. I feel like I've been in this sport super relevant for over 10 years now. Some guys just like to bring up my name because it makes them look cool.
Okay. Would you ever consider grappling him?
I wouldn't grapple him, no, but I'll put my foot in his mouth.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Henry Cejudo calls himself the pound-for-pound king these days. Does he have a case?
He is.
He is?
Absolutely.
Why?
Hey, I don't know. Because he called himself it. I'll give it to him.
What about you?
I feel like I don't have to say these things.
Right.
That makes sense. I don't have to say these things.
Ali called himself the greatest.
People should say that for you. So if Henry claims it, then I guess it's his. I wish nothing but the best for him, though. He's great for the sport, man. He's a fellow Christian brother, and he wants to be the man. And so, I think he's taking a page out of Ali's book by calling himself the man, and it worked for Ali. So let Henry have it as well.
Okay, let me ask you one more, because I know you have to leave.
I'm not in competition. I'm not in competition with anyone. I feel like a lot of people are in competition with me.
Fair enough. Can I ask you one last one, John? You said that you want to be active. How many more times, if all goes well on July 6th, do you want to fight in 2019?
Well, I'd like to fight in December, and then I'd like to try to pick it up and fight again 3 times in 2019.
In 2020, you mean?
Yeah, in 2020, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate it. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, Ariel. All right, my man.
All right.
Man, you asked all the good questions. I don't know if anyone has any more left.
That's the way it goes, my man. Thank you.
Hey, that's why you are who you are. I'll talk to you.
All right, there he is. Johnny Bones Jones, the reigning defending UFC light heavyweight champion, had a limited amount of time with him. How about that? We went on the whole ride with him, and I think he's doing some media now in LA for UFC 239, and our time was up. But that was fun. We crossed a lot of bridges there, right? Daniel Cormier, Israel Adesanya, Dylan Dennis, Henry Cejudo, Alexander Gustafsson, Thiago Santos. I thought it was interesting that he said that he thinks anyone could hit hard, but it's how you set that up. It does not appear as though he is all too concerned with Thiago Santos's power. What are the odds going into that fight? Usually when I would say this, New York Rick would just drop him on me. Let's see if Corporate Jake has him. Minus 550 for John Jones heading into that fight on July 6th. Plus 472 for Thiago Santos. I love the subtle shade with him in DC. If John wins on July 6th and DC wins on August 17th, they are going to try to do it. If not, I do think he's right. I do think they'll go the Luke Rockhold route. If Rockhold wins, he's got a tough fight against Blachowicz on the same card. But you see it there. It just comes out every time. It's there. It's palpable. It's boiling. It's fun. What a card that is. We lost the Sean O'Malley fight, but other great fights on that card. July 6th, Claudio Gadelha against Randa Marcos. Arnold Allen against Gilbert Melendez. El Nino back. Michael Chiesa against Diego Sanchez. Luke Rockhold against Jan Blachowicz, as I said. Ben Askren against Jorge Masvidal, going to be phenomenal. Amanda Nunes against Holly Holm for the UFC women's bantamweight title. There's the main card. Deron Winn trying to get some shine. Prelims starting at 8 on ESPN, main card at 10. You can get the pay-per-view, of course, via ESPN Plus here in America. There's the main card. Diego, Holly, and John Jones all fighting on the same card. So a big night for Jackson Wink and the Albuquerque crew. And yeah, I like that. And I also like this year, there's just one card. There's no tough finale. There's the Hall of Fame Friday night. There's also Knicks Pelicans, RJ Barrett versus Zion Williamson. You know what that's about in Las Vegas, first night of Summer League. That's pretty stiff competition, I must say, for the Hall of Fame. But you got the Hall of Fame if you're looking for something to do. You got the weigh-ins on Friday, of course, as well. But there's only one card. No more 3 cards. No more 2 cards. Just one card. And I like that. I know a lot of fans don't like that. I like that. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's because I think that this card is so big that you should have all the attention on it. All the eyes should be on it. All the focus should be on it. That's what I think. Why do they call it International Fight Week? now. There's only one fight, only one card. Anyway, let us turn our attention now to our next guest. He was victorious in his UFC debut on Saturday in Greenville. He defeated Eric Spicely. He also won the Fight of the Night award. And I told him this. We've had Deron win on this program twice before. First time, last November, his phone died in the middle of the interview. Second time, a couple months ago, worst sounding audio I've ever heard. So the pressure is on. It will be 3 strikes and you're out for Deron Winn. Let's see how he sounds this time. Deron, how are you?
I'm ready to go, baby. What's up?
Oh, look at that
Real?
audio. You sound great, my man. How are you? Yes. Let me hear it again.
Yeah, I'm good, buddy.
Yes, it sounds
Oh,
nice.
I guess it looks like, yeah. Is this like close up to my face?
Yeah, dog. What's wrong with that?
No, this is cool. Like, but it looked like in my FaceTime that it was gonna be like a little bit further back. You know? Hey, man, I like took time to make sure I was like in a good setting. You know, I just got this new phone, this like the XS, whatever, good sound, good quality, all for you, buddy.
I appreciate
Third time's
that.
the charm, man.
Yes, you
Let's
nailed
rock
it.
this shit.
Just like your debut. Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
You get the bonus, you get the win, so all's well. Overall, are you happy with the entire body of work, the decision win over Spicely?
Of course, man. I forget what whoever else I was interviewing with. You know, I can be down on myself because, you know, for a guy like me, I like finishes, and you know, you get a guy like Eric Spicely, who I before I ever say anything about him, he's the man. He took a fight with me on 6 days, and he freaking fought his ass off, and we made money together. And I'm cool with anybody that makes money with me. So, but for a guy like him who's been cut and you know, maybe not the best, you know, record in the UFC and blah blah blah, whatever. I would have liked to finish him, and I would have liked to rather get the knockout of the night as opposed to fight of the night. But hey, I mean, what can I say? It was just my 6th fight of all time, and all this experience does is make me a better fighter overall. And yeah, man, I'm happy. Absolutely, I feel good, man.
Was he tougher than you expected, especially taking this fight on 6 days' notice? Were you not expecting that from him?
So here's what I thought I knew. Well, like, I watched some of his fights, and it didn't look like he liked to get hit. But then halfway throughout my fight, I realized he's just trying to make me tired. He was trying to weather the storm and make me tired, and then march his comeback. So, you know, with him covering up like that against the fence, it kind of makes you look like he doesn't like getting hit. And so, you know, halfway through I had to adjust and maybe stop firing off on him as hard and everything. But then at the same time, like, I think I was telling one of my buddies, I was like, I don't know, I just blacked out there, I feel like. But I think I kept hitting him so hard and so many times that I thought there were so many moments in the fight that I was like, oh, I'm about to get him out of there. I'm like, this is it. He's done. And I could see like the expressions on his face and stuff like that. And I was like, he's done. That's all I kept thinking in my head. And then all of a sudden he'd fucking like throw a big hook and circle off the cage, and he was good, you know?
Did you get tired in the third?
Yeah. I was tired. Absolutely, man. And we train, you know, I train hard, and I like to say I could be in better shape, but what people don't see is, or don't, maybe some people, the casual fan doesn't notice, I threw 369 strikes. That is over 100 more strikes than anybody on the card threw. That is double the amount of more than half the card threugh the entire fight. So I was very, very busy. And yeah, so I was a little tired, but it wasn't because I was undertrained. It was because I literally just put my all into that fight, you know?
And obviously the weight cut was a big story as well. You dropping down to 185. When's the last time you weighed 185?
Probably 2008. Maybe.
2008.
It was probably
Wow.
like 10 years ago. 2009. Yeah, 2009.
How was the cut?
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Dude, it went so smooth.
Oh.
I was just really dedicated, and then, you know, I got the help from Lockhart and Leith at the very end the last week, and I was scared because as a wrestler, we don't do the water load stuff. We just like grind and like try to get your weight down as low as possible. But this time I water loaded. I did it really smart, and I changed a lot of things in my diet. And it sucks because like when you see me in a picture, like sometimes it like looks like even like me down to 85, like I don't look like the leanest, but man, I changed a lot, and I took my body fat percentage down a lot, and I was just really dedicated, Ariel, and that was the difference. And in the last week, I was so scared, and my manager Bob Cook is he was my biggest doubter of making weight, and a couple times he saw me on the scale. He saw me a couple times on the scale at practice, and he would bug the shit out of me about it. And I kept telling DC, I was like, dude, I'm gonna make this weight. And DC was like, okay, you're gonna tell me, then I'll have to believe you. But Wednesday night, the day and a half before weigh-ins, I remember I stepped on the scale right before we worked out Wednesday night late, like 8 or 9 o'clock, and I was like 203. I was like 17 pounds over. And my manager Bob freaked out. But I had almost 2 gallons of water in me. So Bob like put his clothes on, crazy Bob, he's a beast. So he'll train with me whenever he wants or whenever he has to. So we just like in the workout room, it was hot at the hotel, and we just grinded for like an hour straight, and I lost like 7 pounds. And then he like started feeling a little bit better. And honestly, bro, and most people who cut weight know this, like know this is easy. I saunaed twice on Thursday. I did a real short go in the morning to kind of see how much weight I could get off, and then sauna. I put plastics on in between. I put plastics on in between the goes, and then Thursday morning when I woke up, Friday morning, the morning of weigh-ins, I woke up and I was only a half a pound over, and it was only one sauna sit, and boom, I was on weight.
Wow. Any chance after all that you make 170?
It's possible, but not yet. I'll have to keep shrinking my body and keep big time. I'll have to really, really dedicate myself for a consistent amount of time to get some more body fat off and try to be more consistent with my diet and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think I'm okay right now. Eric Spicer is kind of a big boy. He's like 6'2", so he's not the biggest talented guy there is, but I'm okay. I'm okay for now. I'm just gonna get better too, and that's another thing that people don't understand is, they say maybe my size played in the factor not finishing. Also, it was my 6th fight. I didn't fight amateur. I sometimes I don't even know what the hell I'm doing out there. I'm just fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna get better, and I'm super competitive, and all the above. So for now I'm fine. I have no intention of going 170, but have I seen if it's possible? It's possible, but I'm not doing it yet.
Okay, even though because correct me if I'm wrong, you are 5'5" and your reach is 71 inches, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't think eventually you'll have to do that? You think you could be fine at 185?
But I'm quicker than I swear I'm quicker than anybody at the weight. I close the distance faster. I hit hard. There can't be too many guys who hit harder than me at the weight. I'm good for now, bro.
Okay.
I'm happy. I won like 75 grand the other night. I'm fucking thrilled.
What was it like fighting in the UFC for the first time? Yes, your 6 pro fights, so you haven't had a ton, but this is different than anywhere else. Did it feel different? The lights, the announcers, all that stuff. Like, did it feel noticeably different to you?
No, it didn't. I'm used to it. The only thing is dude, the UFC's, I don't know. Honestly, it's an amazing promotion from start to finish. When I got there, they took care of me, treated me like a king, bro. Like, everybody who worked for the UFC was super helpful. That's the only thing that I noticed different, man. Like, you needed a ride to weight cut, you needed a ride to the store, you needed to get wherever, they took care of you, man. So, and obviously I'm a newcomer, and, I'm not used to these things, so it kind of caught me off guard. And I was telling somebody the other day, I don't see how people talk so much shit on the UFC, but I guess as my career gets deeper, I could, maybe more things will come to light to me. But yeah, man, it didn't, because I was the first fight too. So I fought in front of more people than that multiple times, and I wrestled in front of more people than I fought in front of the other night. So, it wasn't that crazy, but honestly, like, I just looked back at Bob. We were waiting. It was me, him, McCann, and then my other coach, Ron. And I looked back at him. I was like, let's do this, boys. Like, we have this thing, me and DC tell our wrestlers, and we heard from a really, really great wrestler. It's like, it's about, people getting nervous. And in reality, everybody who proclaims they want to be a fighter or be a UFC champion or whatever, you can't get to the moment and be scared. So it's like, this is what I wanted. And like all the time they recruited me and all this build up, this hype. It's like, this is what we wanted, right? So let's do this. This is what we wanted. This is why we're here. So let's do it, man. So it was cool. It was a very, very cool experience, Ariel.
Wow, that's great. And I'm just wondering, like, if I would have told you at the beginning of your career, 6 fights in, you'd be in the UFC, would you have believed me? Like, did you expect all of this, or is it happening a little too soon for you, or sooner than you expected, I should say?
I talked to DC about it too, and it's like, as a guy who competes all the time, I was impatient to get here. But now that it's taken this long to get here, I'm glad that obviously I had a great team that didn't rush me into this, and I don't know, maybe I think I belong. I didn't know if it was going to happen this fast, or it was going to happen sooner, or it was going to happen a little later. But I think it's going to fit me perfectly. And I was presented with an opportunity to be able to see just even more things I need to work on. So I'm good. And I'm an athlete, and I'm a professional, and I'm very competitive, and I'd like to think that I'm a lot smarter than a lot of guys in the game. So now all we do is, I'm happy, but like me and Kane talked all night, and like even when we were out just hanging out and stuff after, and because we're both just kind of sickos about it, and we just kind of talked about it, and he's like, just go home, write some things down, watch your fight over and over again, and see the things that you want to get better at, and we'll work on them, So the good thing is we got to see some areas I needed to work on, and we'll just keep pushing forward, bro, to be ready for the next shot.
How stressful was the road getting to the fight? First it was Marcus Perez, then it was Bruno Silva, then they're looking for an opponent. Now we're 6 days away. They find Eric Spicely, who's not even in the UFC, and you find out that Silva tested positive. What was that all like leading up to your debut? I mean, there's enough nerves, just for the actual debut.
Yeah, it didn't truly bother me. You can plan for a guy's game plan, and I think maybe makes more sense deeper down the road as you get tougher guys who can absolutely execute their game plans no matter what, even if you know what's coming. But for now, for me, it's all about me trying to execute my own game plan or what I want to do, and so I wasn't too concerned. Like, yeah, against Mark, it's a little different fight. Against Bruno Silva, I probably would have grappled more. And then against Eric Spicely, I was like, I'm okay with the grappling, but I'll stay on my feet for as long as I can because I don't want to get in these 50-50 positions. So I wasn't stressed. I almost didn't want to tell people, because one thing I got, Ariel, is I'm really good at staying composed, and I'm really good at not letting it swim me. So I didn't even want to tell people whenever we figured out that I didn't have an opponent, when my opponent, because then I got everyone else stressing out, like way more than I'm stressing out about me not having an opponent, because I just believed in the process, and I believed in Mick and the UFC that the good thing with the UFC is they're gonna find somebody. I thought, I was like, you gotta find somebody, because there's so many guys that are looking for that opportunity and want to step in and fight in the UFC. So I knew they'd find somebody. So I just stayed calm and stayed stick to my training and my weight cut, and didn't let any of it affect me. And I knew that me being patient and through all this, and then even my travel there got screwed up, my flights got canceled and stuff like that. And I was stuck in Chicago for like 8 to 10 hours, so I missed a whole day. And I just this thing is that if I just stay positive and control the things that you can control, then it'll all work out.
He posted afterwards that his bank account was at minus 231 going into this fight, and he now gets the $50K bonus in addition to whatever he made for the fight itself. How big of a game changer is this for you?
Yeah, I I tweeted funny because by that time I had probably had a couple drinks in me, and I think me and him were on the same page that we were cool. And I said, okay, I said, haha, my shit wasn't that bad off, but I'm juiced too. Because he said something like my bank account was negative 230, but I'm juiced now, but I'm so effing juiced or whatever. And I was like, haha, my shit wasn't that bad off, but I'm juiced too, bro. But an absolute game changer. I've had a lot of people different points of views to tell me what to do with my money and how to do it. But the good thing is that, I got guys like DC and Kane and my management, Bob and Dwayne Zegan and stuff, who are very, very familiar with guys coming from nothing and getting money. So I'm very confident they'll help me, put my money to use and put it in places that it needs to be. And I'm not stupid, bro. And I know that one thing about getting money is to keep making it, and so you don't go broke. So I'm not gonna not be as hungry anymore. I'm probably gonna be even more hungry because I know how good this feels to know that I got so much money on the way. And honestly, I'll probably take a big chunk of the money out when it clears and give it to DC and let him hold it and make sure I don't do something stupid, because I'm still a young kid at heart, so I would love to do some dumb shit with the money, but I won't, and I'll try to stay strong with it. And if anything, it'll help me with this next camp I go through and things that go smoother, I think, if you're financially stable. I'll be able to work harder and focus on certain things that I've been wanting to focus on. So it's cool, man. I'm super happy, bro, and I'm super blessed with just everything that's happening to me in my life.
Okay, now be honest with me. Were you annoyed that DC wasn't there? Were you upset? Are you beefing? What's going on?
No, we're not, bro. That's my brother, and I understood why he wasn't there. He had been gone a lot, and he's got a family, and I have a lot more fights, and DC's there for me a lot. So I'm okay with him not being there. And we had a lot of responsibilities, man. He had a coach. We got a team. We got a high school team that we got kids working, we got nationals coming up next month, and we got our kids club who's super competitive that competes all year round. And, we're running out of coaches. So it's like, when I'm gone, I help him out so much. Somebody's got to coach the boys. So I'm okay with it, bro. It's just like his last fight against Derek Johnson, or what's his name? Not Derek Johnson, Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
I had to stay and coach and stick to my camp and stuff like that. So, no, I'm okay. That's my boy, and we will do more in the end. He's got plenty of fights to come to, and we will just keep making money and keep making people hate us, bro. I thought I was gonna have way more haters, but actually, I think a lot of people had a lot of positive feedback after my fight.
Yes, so you got a lot of love. And I hate to put you on the spot like this and sort of have to speak on his behalf, but we did just speak to John Jones right before you, and I asked him about Daniel, and I asked him about Daniel's sort of idea of going down to 205 one last time to fight him, and he said that he has no real interest in doing that he doesn't believe DC wants to do that he doesn't want to go through the whole fight again and lose to him all over again, that he's just putting it out there so people like him more. What do you make of that? Do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't know, buddy. I don't think he has too much concern in that. That's going to be a hard cut, and at his age, that would only benefit John Jones. So I don't know. We haven't discussed it. Me and him haven't discussed it at all. Him getting that 205, and I don't think he should. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's too interested in that either, bro. So we'll see. If time comes, it'll come. If not, then it won't.
Do you want him to retire after August 17th?
Yeah, I do.
You do. You want him to win and walk away.
Yeah, but he's such a sicko, and he's so competitive, and it's going to be hard for him too. I know it is, but we do, and I think we all do. I think his whole team and anybody who truly cares about him does. So I do, and I told him that, and I hope he gets out. And he's kind of helped me. He's kind of stuck his neck out for me a lot, for me to get in the UFC and stuff like that. So I'm just like, man, let me do this shit now. It's my time. Let me carry our name and our legacy, and I'll put on for the team well. So yeah, I hope he gets out, bro. And I think he will. But we'll see.
When do you want to return? Last thing.
ASAP. I got my sunglasses on, but I got
oh yeah,
my face is fucked up, bro. I got some stitches and stuff. It almost looks like I got whooped, you know? I mean, I did catch some good ones in there. But I wanted to get back on DC's card. I got to talk to him about it. I don't know if they'll let me back on. I got like a 30-day suspension, but that's still like 60-something days away. I could get back in the gym right away as soon as, my stitches are out. So I would like to get back in there. But we'll see. I don't want to wait too long. I want to keep this thing going, and I think I'm just gonna get better. I think people are gonna love it because I'm just gonna get better and better and better as each fight goes on, and as we go on day by day. So I want to get back in there, and I really want to fight that dude Darren Stewart.
Why? The dentist.
I think it would be a good fan-friendly fight. And he's kind of right on the tier of guys I should fight. And he beat Eric Spicely, and he's coming off a win. And maybe he doesn't want to fight me because he wants to get a higher ranked guy. But I think I've proved that I'm ready to scrap with any of these dudes. So I think if he's smart, he'll take the fight with me, and it'll be a good fan favorite fight. And I'll smash him too, and we'll keep moving forward.
Congrats, my man. Great performance. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to see you in there finally after a couple of close calls where it seemed like your debut was going to get delayed. It was a great performance, great fight, great win, and happy that you guys got the bonus. It's rare that the opening fight on the card, the curtain jerker, if you will, gets the bonus, but they certainly made the right call in my opinion. So enjoy it, get well soon, and hopefully we'll see you soon out there.
Thanks, Ariel. I'll see you, buddy. Thanks for having me on again, man. Third time's a charm, baby.
Yes, you nailed it. Well done. Well done with the audio and the video. Appreciate it very much. There he is, Deron Winn, now 1-0 in the UFC, 6-0 as a pro. All right, before we get to our next guest, who actually is Deron Winn's roommate, Luis Peña, who was also successful on Saturday, let me tell you about my good friends over at Vivid Seats. And as you're looking at the results, some of the results from Saturday, usually I actually read off a piece of paper when I'm doing this, but I want to tell you about Vivid Seats because I don't need to read about Vivid Seats. I believe in Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats is maybe one of, if not my favorite sponsor that we have on this show. They're not even a sponsor. They mean a lot to me. Why? Because they supported our first road show. They were there. They were the title sponsor. Some of the members of their team came out to Chicago to watch it, to witness it in person. And they're just great people, and they're a great company. And people have come up to me and said that they have used, I have a friend who told me that she recently bought baseball tickets and she used the Vivid Seats app to get tickets to a Yankees game. And what did she use? She used the code KNOCKOUT. Yes, she got knockout. She put it in there, and she was knocked out because she got 10% off her first order. Vivid Seats. You want to go to a game? You want to go to a concert? You want to go to a sporting event? You want to go to some kind of thing where you need tickets? Go to Vivid Seats. You can attend that concert. You can attend that show, that sporting event of your choice at a great price. It's the top source for all live events you want to go to. You can sort by price or look for seats in the section and row of your choice. And now again, to make things even better for all of you, Vivid Seats is giving listeners an exclusive promo code for new customers to receive 10% off your first ticket order. Go to the App Store or Google Play right now. Download the Vivid Seats app. First-time customers can use the promo code KNOCKOUT for 10% off your first Vivid Seats order. Every purchase is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, from the biggest concerts and games to the hottest theater and more. Vivid Seats has it all. Download the app and enter promo code KNOCKOUT for 10% off your first order on Vivid Seats. Make a memory that lasts a lifetime, and let Vivid Seats help get you to your favorite live event. And most importantly, support them, because they support us. They are great people. They really are. Vivid Seats. That's it. Vivid Seats app. You want to go to an event? Go in. You want to go to a UFC event? You want to go to UFC in Minneapolis this Saturday? And Ngannou? JDS? You wanted to go last weekend in Greenville? Vivid Seats. They'll hook you up. Speaking of Greenville, what a great performance on Saturday from one Luis Peña, defeating Matt Wiman. If you ask me, it should have ended a little earlier. It was one-sided. It was dominant. He was on point from start to finish. Never in doubt. Let's talk to the man they call Violent Bob Ross, who certainly was violent. We just spoke to his roommate, Deron Winn. I have to say, in the battle of the roommates thus far, Luis, your connection much better than his.
Hey, I'm using Starbucks, so I can't even take credit for that.
All right, well done. You didn't even have to give him a shout out, but I appreciate that. Congratulations on the win. Can I ask? I was making a lot of this, this big comeback for Matt Wiman. He came out of nowhere. I still don't really know why he came back. What was your reaction? Like, did you even remember who Matt Wiman was? Did you know who he was? It had been so long since he last fought. What was your reaction when you found out that he'd be your next opponent?
Yeah, I'm actually a pretty big, I'm a huge MMA fan. I'm a big student of the game. So, of course I knew who Matt Wiman was. I just had to remember if it was the Ike Valley flag fight or the TJ Grant fight that was his last one.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know what to think about it coming, when they offered it to me. But at the same time, I really don't care. A name's a name.
Okay. Was it hard to prepare for a guy that you had not seen fight in 5 years? Weren't quite sure what you were going to get from him?
It was extremely hard to prepare for a guy like that, especially a guy like Matt, because if you go back and look at his fights in his earlier career in the UFC, he's a much more grapple-heavy style, whereas his last 3 fights, he kind of came out with a more traditional Muay Thai, trying to rip leg kicks kind of style.
I thought this was a phenomenal performance by you, arguably maybe your best in the UFC. Am I crazy?
I mean, it was a good performance. There's a lot of things I feel as though I need to work on after that performance or after the fight. That's the main thing for me is all my coaches are sitting there telling me all the good stuff that I did, and I'm sitting there telling them all the terrible stuff I did.
What do you think you did terribly?
I'm not gonna lie. I think I could have put the pedal to the metal a little bit more and got him out of there a bit quicker. I think I let him off. Sometimes I feel as though if I wouldn't have just been content with standing over him and throwing ground and pound and actually let him up and set him up for a decent knockout, I could have finished him on the feet.
I was wondering about that. Why did you do that? Why did you go to the ground and not have him stand up with you?
Because man, you got to get that win. I felt really comfortable in those exchanges, I never felt in danger at all. I knew I had to get that win, and so I was I'm controlling the fight, I'm winning the fight, so let's win. Let's go ahead and win. But at the end of the day, that's the one thing I'm most disappointed in myself for is I feel as though I should have just put the pedal to the metal.
Were you surprised that his team didn't stop the fight in between the second and third round?
No, I wouldn't want my team to stop the fight no matter what it looked like.
Really? Even if it's looking like that?
If I'm dying in there, I better if they stop the fight, I better not get up.
Wow. Okay, why is that?
Because I want every opportunity there is to win that fight.
Even if there's the mindset of live to fight another day, you'll come back, don't take too much damage.
I'll be 26 in 2 weeks. I'll live to fight another day.
All right, fair enough. But he's 35, so it's much different, right?
Exactly. He's 35, but he's 35. You got to see if you can still do it. I mean, I understand his mindset. I'm not going to take anything away from him or his team for doing that or for letting him go out there and continue to fight, for letting him do what he thought he needed to do. I mean, we're warriors. This is what we signed up for. He didn't sign up to play patty cake. He knew what he was getting himself into, and I think that's what he wanted.
Fair enough. He was bleeding a lot. How does that affect you, if at all? Is it harder to get a hold of him? Do you feel like it's getting in the way? Is it making things slipperier? Is it affecting you at all that blood?
Oh, it energizes me. If you ever play Mortal Kombat 11, there's a character named Scarlet. She's the blood god. That's how I felt. As soon as that blood started splurting all over me, I felt amazing. I don't know how to put it. I felt that crimson just cover my body and coat it, and then I could feel it in my hair. It was I felt amazing.
I think this.
I don't know how to explain it.
This is in a nutshell is why I have so much respect for you guys and why I can never fathom doing what you're doing, because I would want to run and go take a shower immediately in the middle of the fight. You felt amazing.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm talking yesterday, I'm on the airplane, and I went to go put my AirPods in, and like they're a little muffled, and I pull them out, and there's like just specks of blood all over them. I was just like, oh my God. And one of my cornermen is sitting there, and I'm like, dude, I still got blood in my ears. And then like I see all these heads on the plane turn.
Has that ever happened to you before? Like that much?
Oh no, never. That was the bloodiest fight I've ever been in.
And you loved every minute of it?
Every single minute of it.
Wow. Okay. Did you say anything to him after the fight?
He said something to me. He honestly gave me probably the biggest compliment anyone has ever given me in my MMA career. He told me that he reminded me of a young him, and that I'm next. But he's glad to see me doing this. He's glad to see someone like me becoming popular, becoming a star, because I'm so respectful. You know, he wants to see guys like me bring the sport forward and not bring it down.
Wow, that is great. I mean, what do you even say to someone like that? Like when someone says something like that to you?
I had no words, man. I was 13 when he made his UFC debut, and for someone like him to say that to me, I have no words, man. It let me know that I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right things, not only in my training and in these fights, but in the way I conduct myself, the way I carry myself in the public.
How much better did you feel back at 155?
I felt amazing. I felt great at 55. But I'm not gonna lie, I got really, really big after the fight at 45. I ballooned all the way up to about 190, and I've told Ro and Ron there in the corner, I felt it. You know what I'm saying? I felt coming down from 190, and it opened my eyes up that I can't, like, as much as I do want to get big and you know, put on some like real weight, some real man weight to compete at 155. I don't have to do that. I can put on weight, you know, get up to about 180, maybe even 185, but I don't have to get up to like 200 plus or 190 to do this. And it did kind of affect me a little bit, that big of a cut. But it's once again, being 55, it's just, I know my body so well. I didn't even have to touch the sauna to make it.
Are we done with the 145 experiment?
You know, talking to Ro this weekend, he really wants to try it again. We may visit that again, but right now I'm feeling comfortable at 55. I like 55. I like some of the matchups that my manager has been talking about at 55, and I'd like to move forward at 55. But once again, you know, I have to listen to my coaches and, you know, and take everything they say and want me to do into consideration.
I'm just curious, why consider, like, obviously it was a tough cut. It wasn't easy. You missed weight. You look so good at 155. Why put your body through that?
I have no clue. Rosindo's just a stubborn asshole.
He just wants you to go through it again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. But you have the right to first refusal, right? You could say, nah, right? Is that?
Yeah, no. That's the great thing about our relationship, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's my coach. I listen to everything he says. His word's final. But we have that relationship where we can talk to each other about things. I can come to him with any issue I have, any issue I might have with him, or something that he says to me. You know, we can talk. We talk it out. We talk through it, and there's never any hard feelings. You know, no one ever gets butthurt over anything. You know what I'm saying? And even if we do get into a big blow-up fight, within 30 minutes, one of us is calling the other, hey, I'm sorry, man. This is how I felt. This is how I felt, yada, yada, yada. We talk it out like men. You know, it's probably the best relationship I've ever had with a coach because he treats me like a grown man.
And what was it like being on the same card as your roommate who's making his UFC debut, having Deron win there, you know, the entire week as he prepares? You can show him the ropes a little bit as well, just, you know, and the friendship that you guys have. Did you feel like that made things a little better for you in the build-up to the fight?
Oh, yeah, that shit was lit, man. The energy we had going in there was just, it was on another level. I can't explain it, you know. I really have to show my man the ropes. He knows how to do it. He's been on the big stage in wrestling. You know, he knows what he's doing. But just having the energy of both of us getting ready, all of our team there around us, you know, pumping us up, us two being like the focus of the week, and not only that, but like the entire camp, we've been just grinding together. We put mats in our garage so that we could get more training in. You know, he and I are just constantly bouncing ideas off of each other the whole camp. We're constantly talking to each other through, you know, hard days at practice, hard days, you know, issues you might be going on with your personal life. But to have him throughout this whole experience, it was just, I can't really ask for a better situation. You know, I'd love to do it again, but at the same time, you know, if we can't make it happen, it is what it is.
Right. I remember the first time we had you on the show, it was actually around a year ago, and you were talking about hoping to find your biological mother. You have since found her, and I believe via your Instagram page, we learned that your biological mother attended the fight. Is that right?
Okay, so it was actually my biological father. I met my biological mother when I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah, but I met my biological dad and stuff last year, but that was the first time she had ever, her and the kids, my little brother and sister had ever got to see me fight live. So it was it was a really, really big deal for me. You know, I wanted to go out there and put a show on for them, make them proud. Especially my siblings. You know, they look up to me. They see me as a celebrity. They tell their friends and stuff. You know, my brother's Violent Bob Ross. So I mean, I just wanted to make them proud. I wanted to, you know, prove to them like, yeah, your brother is that guy.
So have you found your biological father?
Yeah. We linked up. This is a real crazy story, man. So I'm on the way. I'm driving from St. Louis to California to move out there. You know, I'm in a U-Haul with my best friend, and I get an email from Ancestry.com. It tells me you've got a new DNA match. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I got because Ancestry DNA, you probably get your DNA matches are all like fifth cousins and stuff like that, you know. And I started going through all the information, and I'm in it's all it's showing me all the DNA markers for the markers that I don't know where they come from. And then it gets down to a section where it kind of tells you where, how you guys would be related. And it said parent-child. And I was like, oh,
whoa,
that's different. And so, I kind of left it at that because I didn't really know how to react. And at the same time, I'm in the process of moving cross-country. So, I've got other stuff on my mind. And then, 3 hours later, that person messaged me on Ancestry because they have a messaging system. And, you know, we start talking and asking each other questions, and lo and behold, he finds out he's got a biological son. I finally find my biological dad.
Holy smoke. And when was that?
That was last August.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, so shortly after we spoke. That's amazing.
Yeah, right after we spoke.
And did you meet?
No, oh, yeah, we met in person. It's crazy. So I lived in St. Louis for 3 years, and come to find out, my biological grandmother has been living in St. Louis her entire life.
Wow. So
we met up at her house. I got to meet my grandmother, my dad. It was really cool.
My God. And do you still have a relationship with him?
Yeah, we talk all the time. He's actually stationed right now in the USS Gonzales. He's in the Navy. Same with my biological mom. She's a Master Chief in the Navy, which is awesome. My biological mom and her husband and my little brother and sister are actually moving to Stockton, which is only an hour and a half away from where I live.
And so does your biological mom and biological dad, do they speak?
No.
Okay.
It's a little weird, you know. I guess they haven't spoken 20-some years, 25 years. He didn't even know I was alive, so that's a story for them to work out.
Oh man, that is amazing. Will you try to bring them together, or is that not in the plans?
I mean, I don't necessarily. It's not that I plan to bring them together so much as I want to bring my whole parentage together for one fight. I want my biological parents, I want my adopted parents, I want my stepdad there, all for one fight to make it that'd be super special to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
imagine.
I can't even put into words what that would mean to me.
Have you floated the idea to your biological dad?
Oh yeah, no, he was going to come to the Trezano fight, but he ended up getting deployed a little earlier than what he thought of.
Wow. Okay. And why did your biological mom come to this particular fight? Was it just the timing worked out?
Exactly, the timing worked out. So she was stationed at the Pentagon, and she got restationed to a base here in Stockton. Like I said, so they're moving real close to me, and it just so happened that the week they were planning on leaving was the week after the fight. So it just worked out that they could drive to the fight, and then from the fight, just start heading that way.
It's incredible because Ancestry DNA is actually one of the sponsors of this show, and I did the whole thing recently, like spitting in the little tube and all that. And
Really?
Yeah. It's
awesome.
weird.
That's a great organic little ad there for them. Right?
I know, and now you just did it. Like now I don't need to like make up the whole thing. You just gave us the best endorsement that sponsor can ever have.
Exactly, man. It's like I honestly it was a birthday or a Christmas present. The Ancestry DNA thing was a Christmas present, and I never imagined when I did it that was going to be the way I found my dad. I legit thought, I'm just doing this. I might find some people that I know, or I might find some long lost relatives I've never known or anything like that. But then to finally answer all the questions I've been asking my entire life, it was life changing.
What was it like when you saw your dad for the first time?
I was speechless, man. I didn't know because, especially as a male, I think it's one of those things you think about all the time. Is like where I come from, who is my dad? It's hard not to think about. And to finally meet him, to kind of like see myself in his face, to know where I come from, where I get like these natural gifts from, it was just like I said, life changing.
Wow. And does he watch your fights now? Like, have you heard from him since Saturday?
Yeah. He was super proud of me. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's weird. It's to them. It's hard for them to watch no matter what's going on. But he was super proud. I don't know. I just try and make my whole family proud of me. You know what I'm saying? That's my main goal.
What an incredible story. I'm sure you continue to make them proud, and you made them proud on Saturday. And I'm so happy that you got to meet your dad and to find that's unbelievable. Like that's like winning the lottery. So well done to you and to your whole family. And so now you try to build off of this win, couple in a row. When do you want to return? Do you want to return this year?
Without a doubt. I want another fight before the end of the year. I'm thinking September at the latest. September, October at the latest.
Okay. Who's on your mind?
I don't really have anybody on my mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm at that point in my career where I don't necessarily feel as like I can be calling guys out. I just need to take the fights they give me so that I can start working my way up the ladder. I want to be fighting guys in top 15, top 10 here in a year. So I just want whoever they can put in front of me that's going to make me be able to do that.
Did you hear from DC after your fight? And if so, what did he say?
Of course, man. He hit me and Deron up directly after the fight. He just wanted to say he was proud of us, proud of me. The performance I did. I actually just walked over here to Starbucks from AKA, and DC was getting ready to spar, and he just said the big thing he told me he was really proud of me being able to stay in myself every time I heard him and keep composed to be able to get the finish.
Well done. Congratulations on the win, and congratulations on all these great things happening to you, Luis. This is a great postscript, if you will, from our conversation around a year ago. I'm really happy for you, and what a great win. What a great performance on Saturday. Well done to you. So enjoy the victory, and looking forward to what's next for you. Thanks for doing this.
No problem. Thanks again, Ariel. I appreciate you having me on, man. Anytime.
For sure. We will talk to you very soon. There he is, the man they call Violent Bob Ross, and what a great story there about loving the blood all over him and feeling like he got re-energized after seeing the blood and enjoying the blood in his ears. I mean, that is just, I guess that's why they call him Violent Bob Ross. And what about that story about his dad? Holy smokes, every week I sit here and I tell you about Ancestry DNA, and there you have it. It's amazing. That's incredible. He found his dad. All you have to do is spit in a little tube. They're not sponsoring today's episode, but I'll just tell you, you spin the tube, you put it in a box, and you send it. And then you find your dad. What a great endorsement for our good friends over at Ancestry DNA. And now let us move along to our next guest. This is very exciting. Let us go all the way to beautiful Beijing, China. There you see Zhang Weili, who meets Jessica Andrade on August 31st for the UFC strawweight title. She's being joined by her lovely puppy and also her translator, Tommy Wayne, who's also joining us on the phone. Weili, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Welcome. It's my brother. Okay, 谢谢，我听懂了。
She got it.
Okay, great. The first question I had for you was, what was your reaction when you found out that you were getting the next title shot?
第一个问题是，当你获得了这个 UFC 那边的确认，你马上要打下一场的这个冠军赛的时候，你的第一反应是什么？
我第一反应感觉很震惊，很吃惊，然后我也没有想到会给我安排这个冠军赛，对，然后也很激动。对，然后因为你先说吧，王老师。
My very first action was I was really surprised and I was really excited because that was really out of my imagination that UFC could give me the title shot and she had something more. 你再说。
因为之前联系了好几个对手，然后都一直就是没有确定下来比赛，所以我也就是很着急，一直在等待的比赛的消息。然后突然之间说我要打这个冠军赛了，然后我感觉非常又很紧张，然后又很吃惊感觉，然后就感觉一下子机会来了的那种感觉，对。
Well, because I kept getting declines from some opponents that I was calling up, then once a sudden UFC called me up and tells me to get ready for the title shot, I was kind of nervous. Then, I felt like that was my opportunity, and I'm getting ready for it.
Do you think that you would be getting a title shot if this card wasn't in China?
你觉得如果这次的比赛冠军赛不是安排在中国的话，你有没有可能获得这次的挑战权？可以听见我吗？喂，伟丽。
Did we lose her?
喂。哎，伟丽。
Okay.
I'm trying to call her up. 伟丽，你在吗？
It looks as though we may have lost her. All right, Tommy, we're going to call back Weili right now.
我觉得有可能，但是如果在中国，听到了。就我觉得有可能，但是。现在听到了吧？
我在听，我听到了，你继续。
喂，我这儿听不清啊。
我可以听见你，你继续，我听得很清楚。
OK， 那我先说。
喂，
就是
好的，
就是我觉得如果不在中国，我觉得如果不在中国也有可能也能获得，但是我觉得在中国的话，就是这个时间跟地点还我觉得是非常好的，对。
So, in my opinion, it's possible for me to get the title shot even if the fight happens out of China. But just like what Dana said, it's a perfect time in a perfect place. Everything works perfectly.
It's amazing because you lost your MMA debut, and since then you have won 19 fights in a row. What do you think has been, and we haven't seen a lot of stars come out of China, what do you think has been the secret to your success? Why do you think so many fighters do not want to fight you?
下面一个问题是说，你的表现非常的强悍，你输掉了自己的职业生涯首秀，但是紧接着你获得了19连胜。然后你觉得这个中国的运动员，这么多的 MMA 的运动员能够不断进步的获得胜利的原因是什么？然后你认为为什么有这么多的职业的 MMA 的选手不想去跟你打比赛？
因为我觉得就是一直获胜的， 可以听到，可以听到。就是我觉得
好的，好的，好的。哎，我听得到，你继续说。喂。
It looks like it froze up again.
I think she's lost it. We just lost her.
Did she say anything before it froze up?
She says, "I think." Then that's it.
Oh, that was it. How long have you been working with her, Tommy?
Well, since like 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, 2015.
And you're the translator who was with her when she won her last fight. You were very animated in the cage, right?
Oh, I was that crazy dude there.
Yes, it was amazing.
I was that crazy dude. I couldn't control myself. I was too excited. So I was kind of like overacting.
I loved it, and I think we have her back. Is she back?
哎，伟丽。
哎。
喂，伟丽。
哎。
哎，好的，好的，好的。哎，那个，刚才我那个问题还用再重复一下吗？
不用了，我也还记得呢。就是，
好的，
我想，那我先回答了。就是我觉得对于我一直连胜，我觉得是这种一直就是每天非常辛苦的训练，然后就是还有就是对于这种胜利的这种渴望，我觉得是来源于内心的。然后对于这种冠军的胜利的渴望，就是一直在我心里，所以我觉得这可能是我连胜的一个秘诀吧。一个是辛苦的训练和就是心里对冠军的这种渴望，我觉得非常重要。
我先跟他说一下好吗？然后你再
行，好。
So, well, in my opinion, the secret of being 19 winning streak is, I think, is the desire within me to become a champion. That is everything, and I keep working hard for this. Oh, she's gonna talk. She's gonna keep talking.
I think she's just having her dog say hello to the camera, which is great.
Oh.
Hello.
Her dog is called a little Kevin.
Yes, this is phenomenal.
I love the dog. Oh yeah. 哎，你继续，那个下边继续。
然后我觉得他们不跟我打的原因他们不跟我打是吗？因为我觉得可能我的排名不高，然后他们可能就是想跟冠军打，还有就是可能他们有他们自己的想法，然后他们也不太了解我吧，我觉得对，然后他们可能想的是跟冠军打，或者是觉得跟我打划不来吧，我觉得，对，然后可能有他们自己的想法，
明白。So, in my opinion, other fighters don't want to fight me was because my ranking was not that high, and everyone wants to challenge the champion. Everyone wants to get a title shot, so they don't think I am the chosen one.
How famous is she in China, and does she have any sort of understanding as to how her life can change if she wins the belt on the 31st of August? How big of a deal would that be where she lives?
OK， 他的问题是你现在在中国的知名度是怎么样？然后你在8月31号拿到了冠军之后，对于你的职业生涯以及对于你的人生会有怎样的一个改变？
哦，我觉得就是现在知名度，我觉得越来越好了，对，尤其是打了 UFC 以后，然后现在中国就是很多人都知道了 UFC。然后也知道了我，然后我觉得就是打了这个冠军以后，我觉得首先，我觉得我第一个想到的是对于这个项目在中国的推动性，然后让更多人就是更多的中国人了解到 MMA 这项运动，我觉得这是非常有意义的一件事情。对。
好。So I'm getting more and more popular in China. I get much better reputation now here, along with the development of the sports of MMA. If I could win the title shot and become a UFC champion, it is a really good opportunity for more Chinese people to know what MMA is, and it's a really good promotion for the sport, and also the UFC organization as well.
Why does she think there has never been a Chinese fighter in the UFC who has had a lot of success, never fought for a belt before, never really been a top contender. Of course, in Japan, we've seen a long history of mixed martial arts and great fighters coming out of there, but China seems to have been a little slow to develop. What's her theory as to why?
我们知道在东亚地区，日本是 MMA 比较领先的这么一个地区，发展的非常好。你觉得为什么中国相对来讲一直是比较的发展的比较缓慢？然后为什么没有一个高排位的运动员？为什么一直没有一个世界冠军的挑战者出现，甚至是没有一个世界冠军出现？
我觉得就是一开始的时候，就是我知道，就是在MMA 在中国发展是06年的时候，那个时候就是第一批的 MMA 运动员就是开始练习，但是那个时候就是没有一个系统的训练，然后所有的然后大家也都是只是在国内，也是没有是出国去学习，所以就是只是在自己摸索的训练。所以我觉得跟外界接触的比较少，然后比赛那个时候也非常少，所以我觉得就是现在中国的这种MMA 的这种水平也越来越好了。我觉得跟那个就是在国外，我们经常中国的运动员经常出去比赛啊，然后我们可以就是看水平高的比赛啊，然后还有就是经常我们会出去训练，然后现在我觉得中国的水平会越来越高，对。就好的教练现在就是也越来越多的来到中国，对。
明白，你说的是2006年是吧？
我06年刚知道，就是第一个 ，yeah。
明白。So as far as I know, I didn't know what MMA was till 2006. Me personally, I saw the very first MMA fight when 2006. By that time, and everything was within the country. We just train within the country. We communicate within the country. We fight within the country, and we got nothing really international. We got no system to train the sport, and we got no any coaches from outside of China. But now we're opening to the whole world, and Chinese fighters go out of China. We fight and we train everywhere in the world. We bring a lot of international high-renowned coaches here in China. We train here and we train outside of China. We compete here. We compete out of China, and we got a lot of young talent. So I think that we'll really the MMA, the sports of MMA will really grow fast here in China from right now.
When did she start to believe that this was an attainable goal, to not just be a UFC fighter, but to be a UFC champion?
你什么时候觉得就是成为 UFC 冠军，不是成为一个 UFC 的签约运动员，而是成为一个 UFC 的冠军，是一个很有可能实现的一个职业生涯的目标？
我是其实前在16年的时候，UFC 就联系过我，但那个时候我们团队就是觉得那个时候我还是个新人，然后我的比赛经验和我的这种心态可能就是不够成熟，所以我们一直在磨练自己，然后我17年的时候，我一年打了11场比赛。16年的时候，我也打了很多比赛，有站立的，有 MMA 的，所以一直在就是积累自己的经验。觉得既然我要去 UFC， 我一定要打出一个好的成绩来。我不希望说只是我去那儿打一打，然后只是一个签约运动员。就是我们的目标就是冠军。从16年就是开始打职业生涯以后，一直是这样的一个。就是我们的团队一直都是这样的想法，当然我也是这样的一个想法，就是我们的目标是冠军，而不是只是成为一个签约运动员。如果只是成为签约运动员，可能我16年就签约了 UFC， 所以就我们一直在等待一个就是合适的时间，然后进入到 UFC。对。
So the very first time UFC started contacting me was in 2016. Yeah, back then, I didn't have enough experience. I was not that skillful, and my team thought I wasn't ready for UFC yet. And 2016, I had over 10 MMA fights. And then tracked down to 2017, I had a lot of stand-up fights and also MMA fights to just get me ready for a higher level organization. So like by 2017, both my team and I thought I'm ready. So I want to be there, just get the title shot. I don't want to just get signed as a UFC fighter. I want to get signed as a really dangerous title container. So my dream came true right now. I'm going to fight for the title.
My understanding is she saw the first ever female fight between Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche and became a very big Ronda Rousey fan. What was it about Ronda Rousey that really appealed to her?
能听见我吗？
哦，听到了。你说。
他说那会儿时候是说，那个隆达罗西跟那个Carmouche的那个 fight， 丽兹卡莫西还是叫丽兹卡莫奇的那个 fight， 那场比赛，就是最早的时候的那个
13年
的那场比赛的时候，对，那会儿的时候是影响很大的。然后罗西就成了一个女子的 UFC 的一个标志性人物。然后你怎么看罗西这个人？
那个时候其实我那个时候只是就是刚开就是我觉得他特别有魅力，然后我一直都非常非常喜欢他，然后我也是就是之前的时候其实我一直没有下定决心来走职业的路线，但是我看了他以后，我决定我要走职业路线。然后那个时候我有工作，我把工作辞掉工作，然后我开始训练，因为我觉得女性可以在那样的一个八角笼里面，就是可以做得很好，而且有的会比男性做得还好，然后得到了大家的认可和肯定，我觉得是一件非常美好的事情，所以我也想像他那样，然后我也想成为一个职业运动员，然后那个时候我就开始决定，然后职业的训练了。
好的。Well, Ronda Rousey was really my initial inspiration, and she just inspired me because I had other job back then, but when I see her fight, when I saw her fight in Octagon, I felt like, man, you know what? Women can also do really well or even overfight men in the Octagon. So I want to chase my dream. I want to become someone in the Octagon like Ronda Rousey. She really inspired me. She was my motivation. I loved her a lot.
The UFC just opened a performance institute in China. Will she train there for this upcoming fight?
UFC 刚在上海开了他的那个训练的那个 PI 嘛，然后这次的比赛你会去那边备战吗？
我会去，然后我会抽时间的时候去那边。那边是一个非常非常好的，就是就是对运动员我觉得是天堂，我觉得是运动员的天堂，对。然后那里边有教练，然后有康复，有恢复的一些先进的仪器，还有非常大非常好的场地，还有很好的食物。我觉得你到那里而且那边的每个教练都非常热情，所以我觉得到那儿以后我什么都不要想，我就想好打好比赛，然后调整好自己状态就可以了。我肯定会去那边，对。
Well, see, so the UFCPI Shanghai is absolutely a heaven for every MMA fighter. I will spend some time to train there and get ready for my title shot. I think the staff over there and the rehabilitation, their nutritional department, everything is great and everybody is welcoming. I do want to spend time there to get myself more well-rounded. Definitely. I love it.
A lot of smart people, including my friend Chael Sonnen, think that Zhang Weili is going to beat Jessica Andrade on August 31st. I'm curious if she has some sort of prediction as to how she thinks the fight is going to end.
他的问题就是说，他包括很多他的朋友，包括以前跟蜘蛛打的那个大嘴松嫩，都认为、都预测你会在8月31号去能够去战胜你的对手。然后你对于这场比赛有什么预计呢？
其实，在2年前的时候，我就在关注Angelas，然后我就在看他。那个时候我就觉得我可以跟他打。 然后我觉得比赛肯定不会打满，对。
然后完了是吧？So I started put focus and attention on Andrade since start 2 years ago. In my opinion, we won't do 5 rounds fight. It's gonna be either a stoppage or a knockout.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Tommy, I really appreciate it. Thank you very
Hey, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the fight. This is historic. This is a very big deal for the sport. August 31st in China. Zhang Weili, the first Chinese fighter to get a shot at a UFC title. And even though she's a Tom Brady and New England Patriots fan, we wish her the best over here.
Thank you. I'll tell her. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great night.
没问题，就这么着，然后咱们就结束了。他说8月31号那场一定会是一个特别棒的一个比赛，然后他也知道你是爱国者的粉丝啊，加油。
Yes, Patriots.
I love it. All right. Well, there she is. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. Zhang Weili. She fights for the UFC strawweight title on August 31st in Shenzhen, China, against Jessica Andrade. Pretty cool that Andrade is now traveling to defend the belt for the first time after Rose Namajunas traveled to Brazil to defend her title back in May against Andrade. And props to Zhang Weili for doing that interview at 12:30 a.m. local time in China. Tommy told me that she had to wake up at 5 o'clock to travel home earlier in the day. So she was very tired, but didn't appear to be tired. And I really enjoyed getting to talk to her for the first time. Looking forward to that fight on August 31st. Just a couple more things before we say goodbye. Speaking of historic developments, according to Roxana Maricino on Twitter, as of January 1st, 2020, France will be legalizing mixed martial arts. And this is something that many fighters of French descent have talked about. Tom Duquesnoy has talked about it. Czech Congo, Francis Ngannou, who moved to France later in life, has talked about. And so that would be a great scene to have a major MMA show in France. That is very good news. And how about Sugar Sean O'Malley to wrap everything up here today, writing in response to one Marlon Vera, who joined us right off the top of today's program. Let's be real. Anyone with a decent-sized brain knows it's a contaminated supplement. I'd be pissed too if this happened to my opponent, but look at the science. I'm 100% innocent. Hopefully they will prove it, and I'll be able to slap you upside your head. In fact, a story came out yesterday involving an Oakland Athletics starting pitcher, Frankie Montas, who was suspended 80 games without pay by Major League Baseball after testing positive for the performance-enhancing drug Ostrin. He can now return in September, and he says that it came via contaminated supplement. I've never intended to take a prohibited substance. I unfortunately unknowingly ingested a contaminated supplement that I had purchased over the counter at a nutrition store here in the United States. So very similar to what Sean O'Malley is going through. Unfortunately for Sean, this is now his 4th positive test, but it's all very small amounts. We're talking picograms once again, traces, and we're talking about the pulsing effect and a lot of the same stuff that John Jones has had to go through. So unfortunately for Sean, they're not moving the event for him, and he's going to have to figure that out at a hearing in late July. And one more thing before I go, the UFC is headed back to Vancouver, September 14th. They are going to Rogers Arena. That was officially announced earlier today as well. I do want to mention that we are actually off next week. Yes, I know. It's crazy. We're off next week, July 1st. I will not be here. And I actually have it written in my contract that I cannot work on July 1st. July 1st is Canada Day, so it's a pretty big deal around my parts. Yeah, so we're off. And so we'll be back July 8th. After UFC 239, and we'll talk about all that. That's going to be a big week in Las Vegas. I'll tell you more about why that will be a big week later on. But please do plan accordingly. That means no Ariel the Bad Guy from me on Wednesday, no MMA reporters from me on Wednesday, no Helwani show on Monday, but then back for the regular stuff on next Wednesday, July 3rd. MMA reporters, Bad Guy, and then I'll be in Las Vegas as of Thursday morning for all the 239 stuff. So I'm sorry about all that. I'm sorry I don't love to leave you guys hanging. This is the first time that we miss a show in the middle of the week, or the middle of the year, I should say, in maybe like 3-4 years. Really. So it's a big deal. And I'm sorry. But I hope that you'll manage and do something fun and not miss me too much. All right? Okay. It has been a fun day. I have enjoyed it immensely. I hope you have as well. A Who's Who has stopped by today on the program. Thank you very much to our good friends over at Vivid Seats. And how about the shout out for Ancestry DNA? Thank you to them as well. We need to clip that off and send it to them. That was a great endorsement. So like I said, UFC back in Minneapolis this Saturday. There's also a Contender Series on Tuesday. We'll see what happens there. Also, Cage Warriors on Saturday with 6 title fights on their card. 6. Night of Champions. That's kind of crazy. LFA, Titan, so a lot to like this weekend as far as MMA is concerned. Thank you very much to Marlon Vera for stopping by. Congratulations to him. Thank you very much to Molly McCann. Congratulations to her on the big win as well. Thank you very much to Eddie Alvarez. Good luck to him in August in his return fight. Thank you very much to Deron Winn. Congratulations to him on the big win. Thank you very much to Brendan Loughnane. Congratulations to Brendan, despite all the nonsense. Thank you very much to Liz Carmouche. Good luck to her on August 10th. Thank you very much to John Jones. Great stuff from him. Thank you very much to Zhang Weili and her translator, Tommy Wayne. Thank you very much to Rafael Lovato Jr. Congrats on the big win over Gegard Mousasi. And again, thank you very much to one Luis Peña. Thanks to all of you. Back in 2 weeks, same time and place. Until I say peace, I'm out of here.